to navigate any challenges you might encounter at any point in time. So why haven't you signed up for any of our programs? Join us this month. Let's help you get into tech. Cheers, everybody. My name is Adaiza Suleiman, and over the last 3 years, we at Analytics have helped about 1,000 Africans and people of the Black community to get into tech. The question is, what has made us so successful? We have been able to master the art of bridging the gap between the classroom and getting a job so that you hit the ground running from the very first day. And some of the strategies we have put in place to achieve this includes, number one, CV review sessions. Now, this is where you stand out from the competition with a tailored CV that highlights your skills and achievements. Number two, LinkedIn optimization that will help you optimize your profile, ensuring that it reflects your newly acquired skills and attracts the biggest and the best organizations. Number three is Upwork optimization, depending on your personal career goals. For those interested in freelancing or remote work opportunities, we'll guide you through the whole process of optimizing your Upwork profile. Number four is navigating the job market. Sessions would help you with insider knowledge and strategies to navigate the job market, from identifying the best job opportunities to crafting compelling cover letters. Number five, references and recommendation letters would support your transition journey by helping you build credibility and enhance your job application and reference with recommendation letters. Number six is interview preparation. Would conduct mock interview sessions to help provide valuable feedback and boost your confidence so that you can showcase your skill during the interview. Number seven is the weekly mentorship session. This is where you receive invaluable feedback and guidance and support every week. Our experienced mentors will provide personalized feedback, industry insights to help you navigate any challenges you might encounter at any point in time. So why haven't you signed up for any of our programs? Join us this month. Let's help you get into tech. Cheers, everybody. My name is Adaiza Suleiman, and I'm the founder of Tenalytics. Over the last 3 years, we at Tenalytics have helped about 1,000 Africans and people of the Black community to get into tech. The question is, what has made us so successful? We have been able to master the art of bridging the gap between the classroom and getting a job so that you hit the ground running from the very first day. And some of the strategies we have put in place to achieve this includes, number one, CV review sessions. Now, this is where you stand out from the competition with a tailored CV that highlights your skills and achievements. Number two, LinkedIn optimization that will help you optimize your profile, ensuring that it reflects your newly acquired skills and attracts the biggest and the best organizations. Number three is Upwork optimization, depending on your personal career goals. For those interested in freelancing or remote work opportunities, we'll guide you through the whole process of optimizing your Upwork profile. Number four is navigating the job market. Sessions would help you with insider knowledge and strategies to navigate the job market, from identifying the best job opportunities to crafting compelling cover letters. Number five, references and recommendation letters would support your transition journey by helping you build credibility and enhance your job application and reference with recommendation letters. Number six is interview preparation. Would conduct mock interview sessions to help provide valuable feedback and boost your confidence so that you can showcase your skill during the interview. Number seven is the weekly mentorship session. This is where you receive invaluable feedback and guidance and support every week. Our experienced mentors will provide personalized feedback, industry insights to help you navigate any challenges you might encounter at any point in time. So why haven't you signed up for any of our programs? Join us this month. Let's help you get into tech. Cheers, everybody. My name is Adaiza Suleiman, and I'm the founder of Tenalytics. Over the last 3 years, we at Tenalytics have helped about 1,000 Africans and people of the Black community to get into tech. The question is, what has made us so successful? We have been able to master the art of bridging the gap between the classroom and getting a job so that you hit the ground running from the very first day. And some of the strategies we have put in place to achieve this includes, number one, CV review sessions. Now, this is where you stand out from the competition with a tailored CV that highlights your skills and achievements. Number two, LinkedIn optimization that will help you optimize your profile, ensuring that it reflects your newly acquired skills and attracts the biggest and the best organizations. Number 3 is Upwork optimization, depending on your personal career goals. For those interested in freelancing or remote work opportunities, would guide you through the whole process of optimizing your Upwork profile. Number 4 is navigating the job market. Sessions would help you with insider knowledge and strategies to navigate the job market, from identifying the best job opportunities to crafting compelling cover letters. Number 5, references and recommendation letters would support your transition journey by helping you build credibility and enhance your job application and reference with recommendation letters. Number 6 is the interview preparation. Would conduct mock interview sessions to help provide valuable feedback and boost your confidence.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I'm just going to mute everyone. So I'm just going to mute everyone and show that we have decorum in here. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. How you all doing today? If you can hear me properly, could you just put a yes in the chat so I know you can hear me well? Ade Yuyi. I'm not sure. Daniel. Okay. All right. Marin, Martio, Deborah, Marin, okay, Mo, good. It's good to meet you guys. Good to have you on board again today. Today is going to be another amazing session, guys. Trust me, we don't do anything short of amazing. Do you understand? So it's good to have you guys here, and we're going to be having a great time discussing how, we're going to be speaking with a top, when you say top tech professional, do you understand the industry? We're going to be speaking to him and see how he's able to transition into tech without a computer science degree. All right. So before we get started, we still have quite a number of people to join us. Okay. So looking at what we're going to be discussing today, I want to know where you're joining me from. Okay. So currently myself and Adeza were based in the UK. All right. Based in Manchester, Adeza is based off in Bradford. So I want to know where you guys are joining us from today. So if you want to drop it in the chat, and let's pick it up from there. So where are you joining from? Are you in Kogi State? Are you in Lokoja? Are you in Nigeria? Are you in Ghana? Oh, I can see Ghana, Nairobi. I can see Warri, Nigeria, Ghana, Nigeria. It's amazing. Any other person from outside of Africa, if you're we have someone from the UAE, okay? If you're in Australia, you are in the US, you're in Canada, you are So let's see. We have Gombe, Nigeria, Switzerland, beautiful. Oluwadamlola from Switzerland, amazing. All right, that's great. Great to have you guys on board. Okay, so like I said, we're still expecting quite a number of people. All right, and we'll be starting regardless. Okay, recording has started, and we're good to go. All right, so we are going to be speaking with, like I said, before we get started, we usually like to talk about analytics and what we do and what we are setting out to achieve, just to set tune for the session itself. So just to give a little bit of background to what we do at analytics, do we have anybody joining us for the first time? Let's start with that. If this is your first time attending any of our masterclass, drop a 1 in the chat. I think that's the first thing I would do. So if this is the first time, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, Marin, it's good to meet you. Tio, first time. Oh, fantastic. We have a lot of first timers in the house. Choir, please, can you sing, the opening song for first timers? All right. Anyways, it's good to guys. Anyway, if you look to the left of your screen, just look to the left of your screen, you'll see the usher waving at you. Okay. Just follow the usher. We have a special dedicated seat for first timers. Anyways, I'm just messing around, okay? I'm just messing around. But the reason why I'm asking for first timers is just to reiterate what we do here at Analytics, okay? So Analytics is an education and technology firm, okay? And we set out our goal is to get more Africans into the tech space. So if you're an African in Africa, or you're an African in the diaspora, like you're an African in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Switzerland, in Germany, in the UAE, so on and so forth. Like our goal is to get you into the tech space. So there's quite at first, there's Africans, are always, not always, but we are disadvantaged when it comes to the tech space, largely because they feel like we are not good enough, first of all. And secondly, even Africans are not looking to transition because they feel it's too technical, it's too difficult. And that's the reason why we set up this platform to sort of demystify, and help people, and hold people and help them transition into the tech space. So that's what we've been doing, and we've been doing that for the past 3 years. We've trained over 50,000 people across 4 continents. All right, and we're doing an amazing job. We've helped thousands of people transition, either regardless of whatever location you are. We have people that are getting jobs in Poland, in Germany, in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in the UAE, in Norway, literally across the world, even in Africa, also in Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe. One of our participants literally just got a job. That was 2 weeks ago. She got a job with one of the top, non-governmental organizations, stuff like the U. I don't want to mention the name, but we'll talk about that to continue with the session. So we help Africans basically make that decision, all right, make it easy for them to transition into the tech space. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, speaking with a top professional. All right. So just a little bit of introduction. I've been talking. I want Adiza, do you want to introduce yourself? Then I'll do the introduction, then I'll move on from there.
All right, thank you very much for that, Ifemena. And I want to say welcome everybody, the new timers, for those that are returning for the second time. Fantastic to have you join us. My name is Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Tenalytics. I'm a data analytics expert with close to a decade years of experience. And my experience cuts across several industries, from energy to educational technology to sports to financial services and to automobile. My focus is very simple, and that's to help organizations take data-driven decisions. And I've worked with some of the biggest organizations across the globe, across sub-Saharan Africa, the US, the UK, across Europe as well. Now, for us at Tenalytics, like Ifemena mentioned, the goal is very clear and very simple. How do we bring as many Africans and people of the Black community into tech? And this has been our driving, mission over the last 3 years. And we are here to share so many more insights into why you need to get into tech, especially for those who have the interest of transitioning, to let you know that you don't need too much to make the switch and to make the transition. All you need is the right learning partner to make that transition. So we have a lot of goodies for you. We have a lot of goodies in terms of knowledge, in terms of enlightening you on what you require. Okay, so sit back, relax. We'll have an amazing time today. Thank you once again for joining us.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for that introduction, Adeza. So my name is Ifemena Ipro, co-founder of Tenalytics, over a decade experience in data analytics, data science, business analysis, business systems analysis, BI engineering, and so on and so forth. So my experience has been I think I've actually had a very good transition in moving from one organization to the other, also changing roles, and I've had a very great experience working across different data related roles within different organizations. So currently I work as a data science contractor with the UK, in the UK. So I work with quite a number of businesses here in the UK to deploy, data analytics, data science initiative with their businesses. So that's what I do at the moment. Prior to that, I worked as the business systems lead, business systems lead with post office here in the UK. Prior to that, I worked as a business systems analyst, so on and so forth. So that's just a brief introduction about myself. Anyways, we'll drop the links to our LinkedIn profile for you to have, just a look at what our experience are like. All right. So today we're going to be speaking with Kenneth Otabo Irabo. Okay, that's a very quick tongue twister right there. Kenneth, are you the? I know you're currently on the call. You could just unmute yourself, turn on your video, and let everyone see you. All right, Kenneth, how are you doing today?
Very well, thanks.
Oh, amazing! It's good to see you. It's good to see you. It's good to hear from you also.
The name isn't so difficult though. It's Kenneth Otabo Irabo.
Yeah, Otabo. I know. I mean, like the tongue twister. Otabo Irabo. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. but it's good to meet you. You're looking so fresh and clean. I'm sure it's not the camera. Like, I'm sure that it's tech that is doing this magic to you. You're
Right,
talking
also
the
in the
tech
tech
money.
field, right? So yeah, it's what we do.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's good to meet you. So we're going to be having, it's just going to be like a conversation. We have majority of the people on the call are first timers looking to transition into tech. And, in the industry, it's very difficult to get a hold of, mentors and people that have experience to speak to people. And that's the reason why we started Analytics, to build a platform that would speak to newcomers or people that even have experience and looking to transition from whatever career paths they were into the tech space. So we have people here that maybe they've been bankers and they're looking to become business analysts, data analysts, or data scientists. And that's the reason why we have this platform, to bring you on, to share your own experience on how you got started and how you are now the big time professional that you are. All right. So just introductions here. I would like you to just go first of all to just introduce yourself, who is Kenneth, and let's take it on from there.
Okay, if it's okay with you, can I share a slide? Just use that to drive the conversation on the introduction.
Yeah, sure, 100%. Yes, we'll use that to drive the conversation. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what is kind of talk about? I'll try to summarize it in 2 slides. It's difficult to summarize, but I'll just hit the key points
Powerful
there.
mind. Don't worry, take your time. We're there with you.
I've got a BSc in Applied Physics, Geophysics from Unilag, and then an MSc in Petroleum Geophysics from Imperial, a PhD in Computational Geophysics, also from Imperial. That's as far as academics is concerned. There was a professional career. I like to think that I've been around the block, although I didn't do anything related. So tech, as you see, as in my academics, geophysics. My first role was an Android developer. Then I did backend. Then I wanted to do data analysis. Then I did BI. Did data science, core data science, and core ML engineering. I went into the operation side of the whole thing. I've done DevOps also. And 1 or 2 roles I've taken out of the context there. But currently I'm solution architecting in my current role. I work across multi-cloud. I work across AWS, Azure, and GCP. I've got some certifications there. That's not up to date, but yeah, pretty much gives you some summary as to what I do. Then I'm also a human being. You find me running sometime in the woods, or you find me doing some kind of hiking, some remote area in the UK, or you find me shopping for the next flower I want to put in my garden. And finally, I think about a year now, I've picked up the habit of going for fine dining, family visiting some restaurant, trying foods. So I'm just a regular person, trying to do what every regular person does. And I hope that gives the context as to where I am.
All right, Kenneth. People are having challenges hearing. I can hear you. All right, but I think with your microphone, there is a bit of.
I'll speak directly into the laptop. Just a moment.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just give us a second while Kenneth sorts out. Okay.
Let me test the mic and see if it works. Can anyone hear me still?
Perfect. Yes, loud and clear, very crispy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. All right. Yes. So thanks a lot, Kenneth. This is fantastic. I know you say you're still. Are you done, or we should take it up from there?
I'm done. That was the introduction. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So fantastic. Okay. And one thing that we usually like tell people is people currently in the tech space are not necessarily people that studied it in university. So looking at what you did, you did a BSc in applied physics. So I should expect you to be working in a power plant or oil and gas or some any other thing that is tied towards geophysics and all that. So, but how everybody has a story on how to transition. So, what's your own story like? How were you able to move from a BSc in applied physics and how were you able to transition into the tech space?
Yeah. I wanted to, I'm in Nigeria. I was born and bred in Nigeria. So I wanted to work in oil and gas. So that was why I did when I got physics in like it was the option for geophysics. It made sense to do geophysics option. Okay, it aligned me closer to the oil and gas industry. And when I got a scholarship for my MSc, it was just still aligned with oil and gas industry. But I wanted to finish my academics before going to the industry. So I started the PhD after the MSc. But something interesting happened around that period. So around that period, the oil price nosedived. For those of you that remember the history, the oil price went negative. When the oil price went negative, a lot of people lost their jobs in the oil and gas industry. I had a lot of friends that were affected by that. And it got me thinking, okay, there's some amount of volatility in that industry and it's so specialized. And if anything happens to you, getting the next role is going to be super difficult. I didn't want that. I wanted something that allowed me to be more flexible. So you lose one job in oil and gas industry, every company is affected by whatever was happening in the oil and gas industry. There's no chance that you're going to get the next role. So I didn't want that for myself. So it just got me thinking. So I just started aligning myself more towards IT because IT made sense then. And made sense. IT, everybody, every industry, every organization has one IT product or the other that they use. So the jobs will always be there. And I think that was a very easy decision to make.
That was an easy decision. No, I usually tell most people that everybody that is in tech today. All right, so data analytics currently you function as AI/ML. People are not familiar with the acronyms. AI means artificial intelligence. ML means machine learning. Ops or operations engineer. That's what you are. So this or not, you're looking at your academics. Do you understand what made it, what was that deciding factor for you to say that, oh, I want to become, a data or a data-driven professional? What was it back then, when you finished school? There was no career path. I would be certain that there was no career path as, maybe called a data analyst. So, but what informed you to get into it? So,
Okay. This journey. So I was already a physicist, and I was already also into numerical programming. So I was more like using computer program to solve mathematical equations. Really, but with all of those, I started out with. I didn't start out with ML. I started out with numerical programming for C, C++. There is some element of Java and Python. Sorry, MATLAB and Python initially. Then I picked up Android about the time when the oil and gas was misbehaving. And that was how I was able to land my first role as an Android developer. I like the idea of building applications. I just built some weird random apps on my phone that I play with. Then I worked as a backend engineer. That didn't fit. It was a very struggle with that marriage. It wasn't like a natural marriage between myself and just core software engineering. It was missing the mathematical part. It was missing the analytic part. So there was a 6 months gap to try to align it properly. And so, okay, I still want to be in IT, but I still want to be able to do my analytics. When I weighed all the options, it made sense to start again with data analysis. So I came back as a data analyst, not as a software engineer now. Because now I just wanted something that I would really, really enjoy doing. 8 hours of my day every day. That's 1/3 of my life every day. It should be fun. So okay, I'm going to do data analysis. So data analysis transition brought in Python data analysis, then did BI. Along the way, I worked as a data scientist. Then inside see that okay, as at that time, a lot of organizations were building ML models, but the practice of taking models to production was very poor. So it was becoming clear that we needed some standard around how we take machine learning models to production, and the MLOps was born then. People think, okay, we need machine learning operations. So if we have DevOps or classic software engineering, we can have something for ML also. Okay, so this thing, it was still greenfield. For those of us that could get in at that time, it would make sense. Well, it was just going to be a few of us that could do MLOps then. It just made sense to just go into MLOps. That's really how I find myself into MLOps.
All right, the journey has been great so far. I won't lie to you. It sounds very exciting. From physics to software engineering, from software engineering to now data analytics, from data analytics into ML and AI initiative and all that. So absolutely profound. All right. So obviously, I think you've given an hint that you love numbers, and these are things that we like to tell people, right? Before you choose the career in tech, before you choose the career in tech itself, you need to align it with your own interest. So looking at someone that's in the business that wants to probably has a lot of fun talking to people, scheduling meetings, documenting, that kind of person would not really fit in other key technical roles. Okay. The person should become a business analyst, where you can easily, communicate with different stakeholders to document and all that. So you need to understand the kind of person you are. Okay, you like numbers, and that's the reason why software engineering was not a perfect fit for you. Now you are, AI and ML. Do you understand? So, as beginners that we have in the house, all right, a lot of them really still don't know what data analysis involves. Okay. So I want you to talk about a day in the life of, Kenneth. What do you do? You currently work with AstraZeneca, okay? That's AstraZeneca as AI/ML ops engineer. So what does a day in a life, what do you do currently? What's a day like for you?
Let's say I'm going to begin that to start with coffee. I wake up, my day is very started, my head is very clear. So I'm very lucky. No other people that need coffee to clear their eyes. So yeah, I get there's for me, we have stand up first thing in the morning. So after is saying hi to my colleagues and friends, finding out that everybody fared the previous day, we jump on a quick call. Really stand up is just to plan the day. Okay, so what are we doing today? What is each person doing? Just to understand how we've distributed tasks, make sure that we're still aligned in terms of the big picture. We get about our day-to-day activities. So day in my life is on AWS mainly, minus the number of phone calls I need to be on with stakeholders, make sure that everyone is still aligned as to what we want to do. If there's some requirement we still need to flesh out. Otherwise, it will be around the cloud. And what I do in the cloud, essentially working with a number of engineers, software engineers, DevOps engineers, and ML engineers that work with me to make sure that the pipelines or the platform we've built is mature now. There was a time where they were building the platform, but now the platform is mature. So to make sure that the platform runs as expected, we can take the data scientists can focus on their job as soon as we get an info that some model is ready. The process of taking that model all the way to prod, or taking that model all the way in front of people that can test it or consume it is seamless.
Okay.
I think so a number of conversation with people and unblocking mainly the sort of things that I do. It cuts across hands-on design and stakeholders conversation.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, I totally have a good grasp of what you just mentioned. Okay, all right, from prod, you're using really, I won't say technical terms. All right, but
I'll break it down.
okay, first of all, yeah, the AI aspects, okay,
Yeah.
of what you do, and the ML
Yeah.
aspect of what you do. A lot of people are still not sure what AI, ML, and all those things, what they understand. So, how
Yeah.
are you applying this to your current role? Do you understand? I think that's the first way. What's the AI? What AI initiative? What ML initiative? And how you are using that to build the pipelines and all that? Yeah.
Okay. For sensitivity consideration, I'm not going to describe the
Yes.
exact model I'm
Yes,
to deploy.
exactly.
I'll just speak general because I'll be some models for the NHS before, because the NHS is public, I can speak on some of those models. So for anyone that is familiar with the NHS, maybe for a different country, you might not understand what the NHS is. So the NHS is like the health body in the UK. It's free, largely it's free, and because it's free, a lot of people miss their appointments, and that missing an appointment costs the government billions of pounds every year. Okay, anything that is free, people tend to abuse it. So we wanted to build a tool that can predict who were likely to miss their appointments, so we can remind them over and over again that Mr. Emeka, please, you still have that doctor's appointment tomorrow. So our staff will still remind you, 1 hour time will remind you again, because your profile shows that you're one of those people that is very likely going to miss the appointment. Building a tool that can really predict to a high degree, who can do that? Some mathematical tool, in this case, using data is what an AI is. So there's one important thing you must put in describing what an AI model is. There is data. Data is a core aspect. You can write a program to do that. If it doesn't include data, it's not an AI tool or an AI model. But if the program you have written leverages data, it's analyzed historical data, and it's using all those statistical properties to say, okay, I can group these people into bad guys, good guys, people that are going to miss the appointment, and all of those things, then you can claim that you have an AI model. Otherwise, you just have an algorithm that is doing something similar to what you want to do.
All right, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. All right, now let's talk about some common misconception in the industry. You are designing AI, okay? So a lot of people think that AI is going to take their job as data professional or as tech professional, but you are the one building this AI that is going to displace people. Okay. So let's hear from you, Kenneth, here, or Dr. Kenneth. I like, the PhD guys like to put the doctor, so I'll put doctor. So guys, it is Dr. Kenneth, okay? Dr. Kenneth, what would you say? What do you think about this AI displacing people's role? What's your take on that?
I would likely the one model that will propose for doctors that are in oncology or even GP. Let's look at GP. So if you imagine your assistant, okay, you come to work and you have loads of files in front of you, and you don't have that time to scan through everything. And there's one assistant for you that says, okay, Dr. Fred, this patient is waiting for you. This one has got this, that one has got that. Don't forget this, don't forget that. You say you're going to do this. And you have maybe some other assistant telling you that, okay, this is what you should focus on for this particular patient. That is what you should focus on that particular patient. Those your assistants are not taking your job. They're actually making your job easier for you. Now replace those your assistant, take out the human beings and just replace them with Android devices, just some computer robots doing exactly what those human beings are doing. That's exactly what AI is going to do. It's not going to replace you because ultimately you are the doctor. Ultimately, you are the one that's going to make a call. But what the AI is going to do is just an assistant. It will help make your job easier. Some of the things that will take you forever, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours to arrive at, the AI too can summarize this for you. Imagine doctor's notes. Sometimes when you go to the GP, they are scanning through all your notes at that time. See, they don't have time between patients. Imagine a tool that can quickly summarize and get out the core information and stick those in front of the doctor so that nothing is missed. That helps the doctor to then have a proper conversation with you, and help you in that scenario. But that too cannot replace the doctor. Ultimately, the doctor will still be the one to talk to you. So see an AI that way. In any field you belong to, the AI is just your assistant. It's not going to replace you. It's just going to make your work easy.
Beautiful. I think you really taking the nail, and you hit the nail by the end. Absolutely. And that's one thing I would try to tell most people, that AI is supposed to be an enabler to do your work faster, to do your work more efficiently. All right. And I think you've done a great job, even using personal experience to also drive the knowledge forward, which is good. All right, so I think we've established now that AI is not supposed to take your job, guys. So don't fear AI to say that, oh, ChatGPT, Bard, and the rest of the AI tools that are coming out are doing fantastic work. It's not supposed to steal your job. It's not supposed to take over your job. So
Exactly. If I was on the GPT, right? I was going to recruit some engineer for my team recently. I was looking for someone that could use any of the AI tool more than someone that could code. Because you can code. There's a likelihood that you write the program for me in 1 day. But if I have someone that can use any of this AI tool, there's a likelihood that he or she can write the code for me in 1 hour. I write that person because he knows how to increase his productivity. You just be racking your head. You're not leveraging all the modern tools. You're still working as if you're in 2015. In 2023, embrace 2023. AI is here. You can't push it away. You just have to just embrace it and work with it. Use it as an assistant, and you have a leverage. Because the more you deliver, the more you bring value in your team, and the more you are a core team player. But if you're given an assignment, you're taking so long to do it because you want to do it yourself. Not in 2023. You have to think about the strategy again.
Exactly. And you see, the beautiful thing about this, what you just said, Is the reason why we have actually incorporated it into our curriculum. So all the training programs that we have currently is infused to teaching you prompt engineering, all right, ChatGPT and any other tool. For business analysis, we have Fireflies and other AI tools that they can use to make their work faster. Somebody's asking a very cogent question, all right, and I want to get your perspective, and I also, probably chip in also. Yeah, so
Yeah.
somebody saying, based on the example you gave earlier with the
Yeah.
doctors having assistants to read through different patients' notes and summarize it and all that. All right. Then, AI tool coming to replace those assistants. All right. So this guy is Chikwebe is saying that then human assistants, what will happen to them when the AI is assisting the doctors? They've gone. Absolutely. So what's your take on this?
That's a very brilliant question. There are many ways to look at it. One thing is that we have loads of work that we still have to do, and AI cannot do all of those things. Okay, organizations have many challenges that they want to do. AI cannot do it. I'll give you an example. And also, the two ways to answer the question. One of them is a practical example, right? One of our clients, they wanted an AI tool for their call center. So the call center was getting overwhelmed. Folks, many calls were being dropped, many calls were not being attended to. So we wrote some conversational agents, an AI tool that can have conversation with them and see if they're speaking to a human being. And only when it's absolutely necessary to speak to a human being, that tool then pass it across. But oftentimes, most people just want FAQs, but they don't know that it's FAQs that they're requesting for. So the AI will answer as much as possible for some of these questions. And what that did was remarkable. The pressure on those customer service people, the pressure reduced significantly. So that's one way AI can work with human. It can reduce the pressure. You can imagine your assistant that has to do all these massive loads of work. Okay, one way you can do it is you distribute the work between the AI and your assistant. They both work together. That is to maybe you can repurpose your assistant. So your assistant can learn new skills or just do something else for you, but the AI won't replace them or take their job away. We'll all get along. We'll find a way to make the whole thing work.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think I know the answer. Yes, Chikwebe, something I would like to just chip in also is, guys, it's all about positioning. All right. So when Dr. Kenna was speaking earlier, during oil and gas, what happened? The oil prices crashed, and you did what? You tried to reposition yourself to see how you can, get a different career path and all that. So, roles like this are like, obviously there are some roles that over time will be phased out. Do you understand? And so you need to find a way to reposition yourself. So you can't be you can't be an assistant, or you can't be a customer care person for life. You understand? You find a way to reposition yourself. Also, I was a management consultant before. I used to work in management consulting, looking at the same way you looked at the future to say that what you want to do down the line. Myself, one of the days I looked down the line and said that, do you know what, we need to find a way to reposition ourselves so that we are not on the losing end. So it's all about repositioning. Okay. So I think I love your answer also very much, Dr. Kenneth. I think it's absolutely profound. Now let's talk about another misconception. Okay. So looking at your journey here, you moved from oil and gas, that's physics, geophysics, and all that. Move from that to software engineering to data analysis. Now you're currently with AI and ML. So to a very large extent, I want some major misconceptions you'll be familiar with them. First of all, is there any age requirement or age restriction, to transition into tech? What would you say about that? So we've lost your. Okay.
Yeah, there's no age requirement, no age limit. Yeah, once you make the decision and you stick by that decision, then you can make it work.
Absolutely. Fantastic. I love that. Another one is people without a computer science degree, getting a lot of them feel like if I want to get a job as a tech professional, data science, data engineering, AI, ML, you must get like a certification, or you must get like an advanced program that would, uplift your profile itself. So what do you think about that?
Well, myself, my friends and colleagues, some did chemistry, some did biology. I know a front-end engineer. She's perhaps one of the best front-end engineer I know today within my circle. And she did finance for me. Like, I don't think finance has got anything to do with science. It's just management, if I recall. She's very good when it comes to front end and back end engineering. So you don't need a computer science degree. I think you just need to have the willpower. If your willpower is strong, it is important to mention here that there are different areas in tech. Okay, once you just decide that you're going to go into tech, you just have to find which area in tech you align most with and just go with that.
Okay, all right, that's amazing. I love that. That's one thing we'd like to talk. Okay, before I answer, before I give my own opinion, the next thing is certification. All right, let's talk about certification. You have quite a number of certification from AWS, Google, and all that. So I could tell I would want an honest opinion from you to say that, does it give you an advantage, as a professional having certification, or what's your take on someone transitioning, focusing majorly on certification and not the skills? And you also recruit. So would you be looking out for this particular certificate, when you're recruiting? Would you be looking for skills, experience over certification, or certification over? So what's your take?
So I think the certification augment your skills. Get the skills first. The skills don't augment the certification. The certification don't augment your skills. So when I'm having a conversation with you, is that what I recruit? I just want to understand your skills and your experiences. That if I find myself in a position where, okay, I think you got all those stuff, and you now have certifications to back whatever you're saying, it just tick a lot of the boxes for me. But let's say you got 110 certifications and you can't even answer the basics of say the difference between a list and a set in Python. You're like all confused. You got loads of Python certifications. I'll be confused. You don't know about block storage. You got so many AWS certification. Something is wrong somewhere. Yeah, but let's say you can hold that conversation. You can demonstrate your skills, and you have the certifications to back them up, and then it becomes an enabler. Does it offer any advantage? The honest truth is, there was a time when I was working for one of the consulting firm. There was a time where for some of the clients they explicitly wanted certifications in some areas in cloud. That was really what the driver for me at that time. Because I wanted to demonstrate that we had some experience in different areas in cloud computing, because the clients were requesting for them. So from that angle, it comes with some amounts of advantage. So if you're already in the industry, it makes sense. If you're already there, and your organization is putting some so relevance to them, then of course it makes sense for you to pursue it. But initially, if you're just starting out, I'm assuming that's the kind of audience who go on the call, people that are just starting out and want to transition. My focus will be get the skills first. Okay, the certifications will come. Get the skills initially, then use the certifications to back them up.
Absolutely fantastic. And honestly, there is no better answer. I can't even write on that. I think you've done justice to that particular question. So now another somebody's asking a question. I'm going to be mixing my question and people's question, because they sort of align. All right. So somebody's also asking a very good question around, basic computer knowledge. A lot of people feel like, and this is also misconception, that they need to be a very good typer. They need to be able to type very fast. They need to, they need to be very good with computer. They need, and all. So somebody's asking the question: what is the basic knowledge, computer knowledge, that one should have getting started in tech?
It's Hollywood. In a way, what these Hollywood movies, and they paint the wrong pictures of programmers. That's not what we do. Ask all the programmers in the world. You see one guy with many screens, and you see loads of numbers jump up and down. And the guy just doing that, like he's talking and drinking coffee. It's a big lie. That's not what we do, and a lot of us have not figured it out. So in the practical sense, what we do, the best programmers amongst us are those ones that have seen the most error. Okay, if you've seen the most error, you're the best programmer. What that means is no error will trip you again. Okay, because what you have seen before and something that has tripped you in the past, why would it trip you again? You will always see the error, but now you solve them very quickly. There will always be bugs in every code you write, because you're a human being. There will always be bugs in your code. You find it, you understand it, but the moment you see the error message, you know exactly where to fix. If you're just starting out, all your messages will be throwing you all about the place. It's okay, relax, give yourself time. And you see them over and over again, then you know, okay, this particular error, this is how it fixes. And one also important thing, most of the programmers I know, they don't do like this when they type it. They actually do like this.
One after the other.
Yeah, but they get the job done. You don't have to type 1,000 words per minute for you to become a programmer. If programming is what you want to do, you don't put that pressure on yourself unnecessarily, or need to cram the solution in your head. No, you just need to understand the fundamentals and know how to go about solving a problem, and that should make it work for you.
All right. To be honest, there's nothing to write on. You've done another just about question. People looking to get started and they think they need to be, genius in computer before they can get started. They need to learn some basic fundamentals of how to. As long as I feel like if you can switch on your system, all right, you can open a folder, you can watch a movie, you are good to go. Do you understand? So I think that's something I would like to say. So moving on to something, another like sort of misconception within people that are looking to transition into tech is, let's talk about a little bit about what you do, data engineering, okay, which is also AI, DevOps, and all that. So do you want to talk more about, and a lot of people feel like because everybody's learning tech, okay, everybody's learning data analysis, data engineering, data science, people are learning business analysis, they feel like it's going to become crowded and there won't be job opportunities anymore. So now I want to hear from you. Like, what do you think about that?
Scarcity of talent. That is short answer. There's scarcity of talent. That is short answer. There's the scarcity of tech talent. Okay, short answer. Then long answer is we are generating ridiculous amount of data in today's world. Okay, if the amount of data we generated in the past maybe 10 years alone, from time immemorial, we've not come close. Okay, I should not even go 5 years. So we're creating new challenges. Okay, new challenges, and we're evolving. It is worth mentioning that there was no deep learning, mainstream deep learning, around 2010. Okay, AI wasn't on anybody's mouth around 2012. It was something that only academics were talking about when they go for conferences. We have to appreciate that the past 10 years, we've revolutionized ourselves as a species. This time last year, I don't think anyone was mentioning or talking about ChatGPT. Okay, now you cannot begin to imagine the new challenges we're going to throw at ourselves in the next 5 years. As a species on the planet, we're evolving. We're just our consciousness is evolving or creating new problems, and AI and data, we've not even started scratching the surface. Okay, so in some ways there'll be lows and lows. Currently, there are lows and lows of opportunity there. Talent are scarce, and there will be more because the way we are approaching this problem, the way we are solving them, it's also very evolving. It is worth noting. For those of you that are familiar with concept around databases, you appreciate that at some point we started mentioning something like data warehouse. Then we mentioned something like Delta Lake. We started talking about data lake first. They will mention Delta Lake. They will mention Delta Lake. They will mention data meshes. We keep evolving the way we're trying to solve the same fundamental problems. So and there'll be loads and loads of opportunity for anyone that just keep staying abreast with technology. There'll be loads and loads of opportunity for you.
Amazing. Absolutely, profound answer again. So we like to usually tell people just get started. There are tons of opportunity to the extent that countries now, not just organizations, but countries across the world, Canada, UK, France, Germany, are designing pathway for tech talent. And that's because of what you mentioned, the tech talent shortage within their country. And they're trying to position themselves for the future to say that in the future, I think the extrapolation is by 2030, that there's going to be a huge demand for tech talent. So a lot of countries are building that pathway. The UK has global talent, the global tech talent. Canada has the same global talent stream, so on and so forth. So a lot of countries are attracting a lot of tech talent. So we like to tell people that if countries are designing this pathway for tech talent, then you should know that there is a demand in the future, demand for these roles, in the future, and even currently at the moment. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's absolutely. So let's talk a little bit. I think you've answered majority of the misconceptions people have. The next part would be, you know, looking at so for someone looking to get started in, you know, any career path in tech, all right, you know, what would be your advice? Looking at you also transition from, you know, geophysics, I'll say physics, into, you know, data and now AI. What would you advise this person in transitioning?
I'll keep it very wonderful. I had a team around me. I had a team of very good friends around me. We're thinking along the same line also. So we held each other's hands. And for us, we just enjoy solving weird problems and writing crazy code. We're self-taught programmers. You know, we got interested in Android. Like, this Android thing should be fun. Let's create some weird Android app. You know, and because we had that team, it was a group stuff. So we're able to just hold each other's hands as we moved along. I would say if you go alone and you go solo, you might get there eventually. But if you can find somebody that can hold your hands initially, they can help you. You know, it's like going on a journey, especially on those interesting Nigerian roads. If you go with a driver that is familiar with the road, they can tell you where the potholes are, you know, where to avoid and how to drive. If you just go, you know, I just start cruising 180, chances are you're just going to jump into a interesting pothole and you regret it. You know, I'm not saying it is not possible to go solo. It is very possible, you know, but I think there's a massive advantage in having that someone just holding your hands initially as you're starting out. You know, you get to a point where you now become sufficient, self-sufficient, and can then maintain the momentum on yours. Learning to drive initially. You wouldn't want to just jump in and start doing the steering and thinking on the way. Chances are you might get it right. Chances are you might just knock off some electric pole if you're lucky. Or if you're unlucky, do something even more disastrous. You know, yeah.
Okay, amazing. I think that's absolutely is profound. And you know, getting started, you know, like you mentioned, you had like a couple of people holding your hands and guiding you. You know, your friends basically were like the people that you were talking to, rubbing minds and you know, sharing ideas and all that. In my own case, also transitioning, I had my guy here, Days Suleiman. All right, that's the one we held our hands and you know, we're able to transition from that consulting space into the tech space. So essentially, and that's the reason why we started analytics, to be very candid with you, it took us almost 2 years to you know, from management consulting to, you know, getting our first role with data. It took us almost 2 years to get that. And you know, off the top of our head, we said that it shouldn't have taken us 2 years to have gotten this, like impossible. So a lot of people feel like they need to go through that same solo, you know, but it's going to likely take you longer. Fine, yes, you can do it, like you rightly said, but it might take you longer. So why not follow somebody that knows the road and that knows the portals like you inscribed earlier, and you know that can guide you through. And that's the reason why we started analytics to and hold not just Nigerians, but literally Africans across the world to say that okay, regardless, it's almost the same job market, it's almost the same skills. Python in Nigeria is the same Python you'd use in the UK, in the US, and every other places. So if you can do it in Nigeria, you can also be competitive in the job markets in the US, Australia, New Zealand, the UAE, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think you've done a very good, you know, explanation to that. Okay. So I'm very sure you guys have had a very wonderful session. We are going to still be having another conversation on a lot of people asking questions around what they need to get started. They want to become a business analyst, they want to become data engineers, they want to become data scientists, they want to become Power Platform engineers and all that. So they're looking at what do I need to do to get started. Okay. And that's where our data is going to come in to, you know, speak more about that, on what steps they need to take in order for them to become, you know, data scientists, data engineers, financial analysts, HR analysts, and so on and so forth. So one thing that you've established, Kenneth, is that there is still a demand for these tech talents across the world. And definitely 100% I believe in that, because also I'm in the industry. So anyways, any parting words? Kenneth, I don't know if it's almost 1 hour, so but I've really enjoyed the session, no doubt.
Definitely. I think um, get started, just get started. Don't give up. You know, oftentimes, I was telling a friend yesterday, oftentimes when I sit on interview panels, I don't say black. We're very, very underrepresented. And the cool thing, interesting cool thing about it is that many of these people that come for this interview, they're not really that solid in the role that they've applied for. But there's one thing I will give to them: the confidence in applying for that role. That confidence it takes them to put themselves out there. They just put themselves out there. I say, okay, I'll give it to you, even if you're not qualified. But at least I respect you for that. You made that effort. But I don't see people from my own ethnic background. I don't know if it's some kind of imposter syndrome. We're scared or we're just not aware. We don't know the information. So that's why my pattern will be: just get started. Get started and don't give up. Yeah, you get there eventually.
Amazing. Honestly, that's something that we tell people almost every weekend. I know it's like Kenneth, you've been on our session, unfortunately speaking. People have that imposter syndrome is very, very, very pronounced, especially with Africans, saying that they're not good enough, they don't have the skills. Even though they've learned it, they still feel like they're going to work for a company like, the NHS. And they feel like, oh, the NHS is a big organization. Like, would they be able to compete with, to be able to get started? Do you understand? So that imposter syndrome is one of the things that we like to dispel. That you're good enough. All you need to, as long as you learn the skill, you can get started. All right. And like you said, in your own experience here, how many Africans have you worked with, coming from the NHS to consulting to where you are at the moment?
Moving small. I think it's like one was my later days. So it was in Nigeria that joined my team. So it was the 12 of us in a team of almost 20 people. At Accenture, we had quite a number of Nigerians in there, but still not the right sort of numbers you would expect, given our population as giant of Africa. We're not giants in anything. At all. Like the mouse in there, like, yeah, we have the number. We're not there. On many of the projects I was on, most of my teams offshore based and loads of Indians there, and the ones of us are onshore. And Nigerians are just scattered all around the place. In AZ, I've never seen one yet. Come across any of the teams I've interacted with. Yeah, I'm still looking for.
I think that's something that we're also trying to improve on. And guess what? My own personal experience across my own, I've not worked with any Nigerian. The first one was with my one organization I worked with back then in Ireland. We did a diversity call, and the banner, they had a banner, my name and everything, for my department and everything. And this woman went on Teams immediately that same day, typed in my name, and sent me a message that we have in Nigeria, we have an African, first of all, on the team, so excited that, if not for that banner, she wouldn't know I even existed in the organization. Yeah, so those are the things that we're trying to improve on. We have other experiences. I was working with the post office before, like I mentioned, and during one of the stand-up meetings, I was leading a session, and after the session, somebody just sent me a message. If you mean, I never knew you were part of the post office, and I was looking at the name. It was a Nigerian name, Rafiat, and I was like, okay, where do I know you from? Do I know you? And she was like, oh, she went through to analytics. She went through the business analysis course and currently works as a business analyst with the post office. I was astounded. I was so amazed that this could actually happen. What are the chances that somebody went through to analytics, got a job, and we're working in the same organization? And that's just the beauty of the tech space. So thanks a lot for taking our time. I love all the things you said. I'm very sure everybody, had a very great time. If you enjoyed listening to Dr. Kenneth, guys, I want you to drop a thumbs up in the chat. Let's keep it going. All right. So, thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth. Yes, thanks for coming around also. Thank you. Please, I'm going to hand over back to you, so you can take it off from there.
All right, thank you very much, Efemena, and thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth, as well, for sharing fantastic insights to everybody on the call. Okay, so I know a lot of you have questions. No worries, we'll have a section for Q&A. So towards the end of our presentation, we'll have a section specially designed to take your questions and answer all the questions that you have burning within you. Now, what I'll do is I'll break down what it takes for you to get started. All right, Dr. Ken has come in. He said a lot of things to get started. He hasn't worked with so many Africans. And this is very common across different regions. You get to work in the UK with the major organizations. I don't find people that look like me, all right? People of the Black community, Africans, and that's because we focus more on, I would say, the areas where we shouldn't always focus on that. For example, I've interacted with so many Nigerians. They've come to the UK for their masters, and the focus for them is just to do the care jobs. Okay, they want to do the care jobs, the support work, and so on and so forth. Not that there is anything wrong with that. It's fine. However, there are more opportunities. You can get a job as a data analyst. You can work in an organization like Dr. Ken. Okay, Dr. Ken sits on a panel and he wants to bring in the best. He wants to bring in somebody that can get the job done. Okay, now imagine you have the skills, you've learned the skill, and you start to apply to jobs. Of course, if you're the right candidate, you get selected and you start your journey into the tech ecosystem. I mean, the NHS, I was going to mention this before Dr. Ken left, the NHS recruits the highest number of Tenalytics participants. About 2 weeks ago, we had a participant that joined the NHS. Again, her name is Ikmat. I'm going to play her video, to you. She was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years, right? She had not worked in any professional organization for 4 years. She came to the UK and decided to reintegrate back into the, work environment and going the tech route. She joined our program, our data analytics program. We worked with her, prepared her for her interviews and so on. And today she works with the NHS as a data analyst, fully sponsored. Because I saw questions around, how do I get PR? How do I get sponsorship? She was fully sponsored for that particular role. All right. So let's get started with what we have for today. So I'll break down all the different career paths, and then I'll explain the different career paths using a case study. So what does a data analyst do? What does a HR analyst do? A data scientist, a data engineer? In a summary, what's their fundamental objective in an organization? So once you have a good idea of what it takes, you can then make the decision on the career path that you'd like to join. And I would also introduce our upcoming program on the 7th of October. We have a program starting on the 7th of October. And I have an amazing discount, fantastic opportunity for those who'll be interested in joining that program. So let's get started with our session for today. I think I've introduced myself at the beginning, but I might just do that one more time for those that joined after we had started. Okay. So just permit me to share my slide and let's get into it. So once again, my name is Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Tenalytics, data analytics experts focused on helping organizations, multinationals, to make sense of the data that they have, take data-driven decisions. We generate data, but the ability to make sense of the data, to take decisions, is where the value lies. And every organization wants to have a team that comprises of different data professionals to help them make sense of their data. I've worked as a data science consultant in the UK, in the US, across Europe, and I've worked across several sectors, several industries over the span of my career. And that's just a brief introduction about myself. Now, going into the main meat of our session today, we have 6 different career paths that we offer at Tenalytics: the business analysis, data analytics, financial analytics, HR analytics, the full stack data science, and data engineering. 6 different career paths. And I'd like to hear from you. Out of these 6 different career paths, which career path would you like to go for? Just type it into the chat. Which of the 6 would you prefer? Just type into the chat. Let's get to see what you have. And I'll tell you the rationale behind the 6 programs that we offer. Why 6? Data engineer, I can see IA data engineer, NED data engineering, data analytics, business analysis, financial analytics, data analytics, business analyst, data science. Fantastic, brilliant.
Okay, explain, and then you'll be able to. Absolutely, I'll explain. So perhaps you might change your mind after my explanation, but let's get into it. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. All right. Now, how did we come up with 6 different career paths? Okay, if you listen to Dr. Ken carefully, he mentioned there are so many areas within the tech ecosystem, but where you decide to, where you decide to join all depends on your own personal decision, your capability to do one or two tasks, and so on and so forth. I've worked with so many people that would say, look, I don't want to learn how to use Python at this stage, of my career. I'm transitioning, I'm trying to move to Canada, and I want to apply to jobs that would give me that career progression, but I don't want to code. It shows that you can't be a data scientist. If you can't use Python, you can't be a data scientist, you can't be a data engineer. All right. So while I break all the different career paths, the technologies, and so on, you get to understand the different areas that you can start and the areas where you think initially you could perform, but then you have a change of mind. Now, how did we come up with these 6 different career paths? Why 6 out of the so many different areas within the tech ecosystem? Now, we looked at so many reports. We also scraped data off the website across the major job boards. And one of the things we saw was over the last 5 years and going into the future, the next 5 years, where will the opportunities be? All right, in terms of getting into tech. Okay, we also looked at the World Economic Forum report. They always do a future of work outlook. I'll share that with you. We'll look at 2 pages that are very, very important. And if you can lay your hands on that report, please do, so that when you're planning for the future in terms of where you want to be career-wise, you can make informed decisions. Okay, so now we looked at that report, we did our own analysis, and we focused on 3 major criteria. Number 1, the career path must be easy to learn. Okay, easy in the sense that I can decide to learn to become a data analyst, and then I would want to do that within the shortest period possible. I don't have to go to the university to do another 1 year. I don't have to do 2 years to get started as a data analyst. So ease of learning was one of the major criteria we looked at. Secondly, we looked at the ease of transitioning and getting a job. So once you've learned the skill within 3 to 4 months, how easy would it be for me to get a job? Are the jobs available? All right. And I'll tell you for a fact, similar to what Dr. Kenneth said, organizations are looking for these skills every single day, but you have a shortage of talent, right? So having the skills gives you the opportunity to apply for some of the unique opportunities available in the major economies. Remote opportunities are also available. How do you tap into them? Okay, when I meet Africans, I don't always want to see Africans doing care, Africans doing the Uber drivers, Deliveroo, and so on and so forth. How about getting the data science role, working out of Nigeria, working for an organization in the US? And we've helped so many people achieve that. So many. I'll be sharing some of the success stories with you as we move on. So ease of transitioning was very, very important for us. And then we looked at high and rewarding salary. Of course, you've learned something, you've decided, okay, the jobs are there, I'm going to transition, but how much am I going to get paid? Am I going to get paid peanuts, or can I compete and get the jobs that will pay me the big bucks? And I'll tell you that the salary, the money in tech was one of my major drivers. One of the major drivers for me to get into tech, myself and Efemena, was the money. The money was good. You have opportunity to negotiate hybrid work, remote work. I haven't been to the office, God knows how long. I work from home, do all the amazing things I need to do from the comfort of my home. Now, I want to show you something very important, which is the World Economic Forum job future of work outlook report. And then we'll come back to the slides where I'll break down all the different career paths for you. Okay, so maybe later at the end of the session, at your convenience, take out time to look at this report. It's a fantastic report that will help you understand where where if you'll be relevant in the next 5 years or not. Okay, we always look at this report every single time. So this is the one, written on this was published in May this year, May 2023. So the Future of Jobs reports, the Insights reports on what will the future of work look like? What's the outlook for different career paths? So try to read all the pages if you can, but I'm going to move to page 30. Okay, and this is where I would say you pay very close attention, especially if you've worked professionally and you're planning to get the best jobs across the major economies. We have two different, columns here or categories. The first one shows the growing jobs jobs that will grow between 2023 and 2027. And then you have the jobs that are declining. So you have the growing jobs and you have the declining jobs. All right. Now, let's look very carefully. Where are the opportunities between now and the next 5 years? If I'm to look to transition into a new career path, where should I be looking at? And I'll help you, just point out, a couple of career paths that are very, very key. Number one is AI and machine learning specialists. So Dr. Kenneth, for example, who is an AI engineer, builds, AI tools and AI-led applications to solve problems for organizations. Between now and the next 5 years, these are the career paths that would pay the highest. They'll be high in demand, and you can control how much you earn, where you want to work, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to skip a couple of career paths because I want you to focus on a couple. AI and machine learning specialists, business intelligence analysts. Business intelligence analyst. I'm going to maximize this a bit so you can see my screen a bit better. So business intelligence analyst, you can see that. Data analysts and data scientists. You can see that as well. Big data specialists. All right. And I'm going to keep on going down. Data engineers. You can see that as well. I'll go down a bit. Database architects, DevOps engineers. And if you keep on going down, row by row by row, you'd see the jobs that are growing. Financial analysts. So when we decided to select the career path we're going to offer, we had to look at what the market required. Where will the jobs be? Where will the opportunities be? When you learn with us, how relevant will your skills be in you getting a job eventually? So if you look through all the growing jobs, you'd see that it is heavily tilted towards the data ecosystem, from AI to data analysts, to data engineers, to data scientists, to database architects, to financial analysts, and so on and so forth. And that was how we came up with the programs that we offer. Now, if you look at the declining jobs, the jobs whereby between now and the next 5 years, they're likely going to get phased out. And you would have seen this happening already. The bank tellers and related clerks. Now, while I was still in Nigeria, there was a particular bank that had closed. If you go into the branch, you would see maybe just about 2 tellers, behind the screen. You would not see any other. Compared to 5-10 years ago, where you go into the bank, you see the entire place filled up with tellers, and you don't have to queue for that long. Now banks are closing up their branches. Why? Because of automation and so on and so forth. Of course, the postal service clerks, the cashiers, administrative executives, data entry clerks, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll, legislators and officials. So these are the jobs that are declining. All right. So if you are looking to get into different roles and you're looking at these jobs, okay, then you'd find yourself very soon in a position whereby your skill becomes irrelevant and you struggle to get a job. The focus for us is on how to help you get jobs, in the major economies. Okay, so look at these reports. It's very, very important for you to understand, and it would help you shape how you make your transition eventually. Now let's get back into the slide. And I can see questions. Okay, Malcolm said Savannah Bank, Keystone, AfriBank, and so on. Absolutely, I agree with you. Okay, now I'm going to go through a very quick case study. Okay, very quick case study, and I'll use this case study to answer the different career path in terms of what they do in a summarized manner. So when you look at the data analyst, the data engineer, the data scientist, the HR analyst, the financial analyst, what do they do on a day-to-day? Now, this particular organization called RetailMax, it's a retail company that sells groceries and so many other products to their customers. The company is currently facing financial pressure due to competitors setting up online platforms and so on. Now, the leadership decided that, look, we need to solve this problem. Okay, we are losing money. We are spending a lot of money on operations and so on. We want to bring down our operational cost by 20% within the next 6 months. And we want to do this without affecting or compromising the customer experience. All right. So this is what RetailMax faced. And so many organizations today would either want to reduce their costs, would want to become more efficient so that they can make more money. So you're either optimizing or maximizing your revenue, or you are becoming more efficient to reduce your costs. RetailMax faced the problem of high operational costs. So they needed to bring it down. And they wanted to bring down operational costs without affecting the customer experience. So what did they do and how will they solve this problem? Here comes the first professional, Sarah. Sarah is the business analyst. Now, as the business analyst, you are the bridge between the stakeholders and the development team. Okay, you understand the business. You understand the requirements that you need to take the business to what they need to achieve. Now, for Sarah to understand how to solve this problem and what they need to do, Sarah the first thing she did was to conduct a stakeholder interview. She identified all the stakeholders involved with operations. All right. She looked at the problem. Okay, these are the stakeholders I need to speak to, I need to interview and so on and so forth. She met with those stakeholders, gathered them together, brought in the data analyst, brought in the data scientist, brought in the COO, brought in the head of operations, and they had a session where they discussed the problem. How do we take this forward? Now, during that meeting, what did Sarah notice? She noticed from the COO and the stakeholders that customers had to wait so long for them to make payments. So they always had a very long line of customers waiting before they check out. And this was simply because the payment process was manual. Just like you go to your typical store or typical superstore, like ShopRite, for example, in Nigeria, and then you have to wait. If you go to the one at Ikeja, is always a hassle. You have very long lines. You have to wait in line to make payments and so on and so forth. So that was a major issue they noticed. Now, the other stakeholders identified different other problems, but Sarah took note of this particular problem. So what she did was, look, let's set up a team based on these requirements, based on what I have found from this meeting. Let's set up a team to solve the problem. So what did Sarah do? She engaged the stakeholders and she carried out elicitation. Elicitation simply means gathering the information that you need to solve a problem. All right. Now that she has reasonable amount of information, she decided to set up a team that would help to reduce the operational costs. The data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, because there were so many other areas they needed to look at. Apart from customers waiting in long queues, they had issues with staff burnout. Staff were saying they're tired, they get to work all day. They had issues with inventory. Critical items were always going out of stock. So there were so many problems. So they set up a team to solve the problems. Now, what did Sarah do afterwards? She was able to map out the current process. So the process of customers buying and paying, she mapped out the entire process, which is called the as-is process, right? So she looked at the process end to end, and then she came up with an optimized process because she found the inefficiencies and decided that, look, based on this current process, we can't get to where we need to get to. She came up with an optimized process to implement a self-checkout kiosk, which is the to-be process. So a self-checkout kiosk where customers can make payments themselves. She was able to notice that because she mapped out the process, identified the inefficiencies, and decided to implement a self-checkout kiosk. This was Sarah's responsibility as the business analyst. Now, because they had also identified that they need to know the customers that come in to the store, they also need to know the number of transactions that happen. When do we have these transactions? Why are staff burning out? Why are critical products going out of stock and nobody knowing? So they decided to get data from all these systems so they can analyze the data to get insights that would help them solve those problems. Now, the data was not available anywhere. Just like we always assume, data is only available in an Excel file. But the data was available in the POS system. So they had POS data that showed customer transactions. They had the HR systems that had the staff schedule and their overtime. And they also had the inventory management system that had details of the stock levels and turnover and so on and so forth. So the question is, how do we get the data from all these different systems, from the POS, from the HR system, from the inventory management system? How do we get it? And this is where Ahmed, who is the data engineer, becomes very important. So the data engineer, Ahmed, creates data pipelines. So he creates data pipelines from all these systems to move the data from those systems into a data warehouse. Now, we all know what a warehouse is. I mean, in terms of the common man knowledge of a warehouse. A warehouse is where you put all your goods, all your items, and people can go there to pick the goods they need to deliver to customer. Similar to that explanation, a data warehouse is simply where you have your data stored, data from different sources, from the POS transaction, from the website, from the HR system, from the inventory management system. So Ahmed's responsibility as the data engineer was to get the data from all these systems and create a data warehouse where anybody who needs access to that data warehouse can tap into it and get the data that they need. That was Ahmed's responsibility. So Ahmed created the data warehouse so that the other team members can get the required data and they can start solving the problem the organization had. So we've seen what Sarah did in terms of bringing the team together, initiating the project, identifying the current process, and mapping out the to-be process, the more optimized process. Now, Ahmed, who is the data engineer, what did he do? We need data from different sources. He created data pipelines to get the data from those different sources into a data warehouse so that the other team members can access the data from the data warehouse. The next professional here is Kemi. Kemi is a data analyst, all right? Now, because Ahmed has created the data warehouse and data is now available, Kemi can extract the data that she needs to do her analysis. She can extract it from that data warehouse. So it's easy for Kemi to say, I can get my data and I can do my analysis. What did Kemi do? Kemi got the data from the data warehouse and she used Power BI to create a dashboard to look into the customer transaction and customer behavior. All right. So she got the data from the POS transactions and to see what customers have been buying, to also see the number of transactions they've been having as a company and as a business. By getting this data and creating this dashboard, Kemi was able to track the highest selling products. So she found out that, look, when customers come to the store, these are the products they buy a lot. And because customers buy the product a lot, she also found something very interesting from her analysis. She found out that those products that were high selling were always going out of stock. So she found out that based on the transaction, there were some days where those products were not sold. And then it started selling again after a couple of days. And this shows that those products that are high selling, they get out of stock, and then nobody knows because nobody is tracking the inventory. Okay, so what did Kemi do as the data analyst? She created another dashboard that was going to show in real time the stock inventory level. All right, and also so that when there is a particular level, it triggers for the team to reorder. So there was a reorder level, and there was a level whereby when the stock got to that level, it triggers a reorder, to the supply chain team to go ahead and buy more of those products. It's like owning a store, and your highest selling item is, a bottle of Coke. Now, because people buy Coke a lot, Coke gets out of stock, and then you don't have Coke to serve customers. You have to go buy more Coke after the Coke must have, gotten out of stock. So what Kemi did was to create a dashboard to track in real time and also set some parameters so that when it gets to a particular level, so maybe when your Coke bottles gets to 100, rather than waiting for it to go below 100, you order for more Coke so that customers always have those items. And that was what Kemi was able to do. So she got the data because Ahmed had created a data warehouse. She was able to analyze the data, created a dashboard, identified the highest selling products, and also created a dashboard to track the inventory level. Now, because Kemi had done this, they were always collaborating as a team. Kemi, Ahmed, and Sarah collaborated during this process. Now, based on the findings of Kemi, identifying the highest selling products, and also noticing that highest highest-selling product goes out of stock from time to time, and customers cannot buy. What did Michael do? Michael is the data scientist. Michael decided that, look, I'm going to find out when we have the highest number of customers coming into the store, because the COO mentioned that there's always a long queue in the store and customers cannot pay, they get frustrated. And because customers have to wait very long in long lines, you have staff that would have to stay back to meet the needs of those customers. Staff cannot leave the store if customers are still there. So because of that, we have to pay a lot of people overtime. So Michael decided to also extract the data from the data warehouse, carried out his analysis, and found out that the times where you have a lot of customers were on Sundays and during holidays. So when you have a public holiday, a bank holiday, or when it's on Sunday, you have a whole lot of customers coming into the store. And he was able to see that increased transaction based on that. Now, what did Michael do? Michael also wanted to see into the future. If Sundays are the days where customers have, we have high, traction of customers, bank holidays, public holidays are the days we have a whole lot of customers, and some other days during the week. Can I predict into the future when we are likely going to have high customers? All right. When during the week are we going to have high customers, so that we know the exact number of staff to place in the store and we don't have to pay everybody overtime. So if we need only 3 staff, we know that on this Sunday, we are likely going to get 200 customers and 4 staff are enough to serve 200 customers. If I can predict into the future to say next 2 weeks or 2 weeks after now, we are likely going to have 500 customers. And based on that, five staff are enough to serve those 500 customers. So looking into the future, being able to predict, being able to forecast into the future. So Michael carried out a time series analysis and also used linear regression to predict the number of staff that we need based on the number of customers we have in the store on certain days. Now, Michael was able to do this. He created a linear regression model that could help us to tell, oh, next week Sunday, next week Saturday, next week Thursday, we are going to have this number of customers. And if I know the number of customers, I can plan for the number of employees to put in the store. And I don't tell everybody to come to the store and have to pay everybody for that day and pay everybody overtime money as well. Michael created this. And by doing this, it meant that not all staff have to work overtime because Michael can predict, has a model that can predict into the future. Now, BC, who is the HR analyst, was interested in seeing what Michael had found. Oh, BC asked Michael that, do you mean that we don't need all the staff to come into the store every day, especially work overtime every day? Michael said yes, and that's simply because I can tell you the number of customers that are likely going to be in the store on a particular day. And using this, we can also identify the number of staff that should be in the store on that day. So BC decided to do a little bit of analysis herself. She went into the data warehouse, got a hold of the HR data in the data warehouse. She carried out her analysis. She looked at the overtime records and the employees that have been working overtime. She did her analysis, created a dashboard, and she found out that too many employees were working overtime consistently. And because of this, because they were working overtime consistently, they had what? Burnout issues. They were tired. They were not coming back to the office because of burnout. And when you pay employees overtime, that was extra cost. So if we're going to reduce our costs, BC decided that based on my own analysis and what Michael, the data scientist, has found, it means that I can predict when the staff would be available, when the number of staff that I need based on the number of customers we are likely going to get. And this would help to reduce overtime. So BC did her analysis, but was focused more on the HR area, focused more on the people, focused more on helping the organization achieve its objective through the employees within that organization. All right. So based on our analysis and what Michael has been able to create, they can now tell the number of staff that they need within the store on a particular day. Last but not the least is Linda, who is the financial analyst. Now, if we are able to determine the number of people that should be in the store based on the number of customers, how much are we likely going to save? What is the cost-benefit analysis of implementing these recommendations? All right. Linda was also looking at if we are going to implement the self-checkout store for customers to check out themselves instead of waiting on a long line, how will that impact the business financially? Linda was also looking at that. So Linda carried out cost-benefit analysis on the different recommendations. She also did some financial analysis to determine how much they can save by implementing the checkout process. So Linda's focus was different from BC, was different from Michael. Linda was focused on the financial related issues based on the recommendations they were offering. So Linda went into the data warehouse. She got data as well from the data warehouse, and she was able to do her cost-benefit analysis, her financial analysis, and found out that, look, we are likely going to save 1.5 million by optimizing only the staff schedule, knowing the number of staff to come in and number of staff that should not come in on a particular day. We are also going to save $300,000 if we implement the self-checkout stall. Okay, now this was Linda's recommendation, and that was what she was able to do. Looking at all of this, remember that they were collaborating the entire time. And the person that was responsible for ensuring that the requirements that all the things they were doing met the requirements of the initial problem, which is to bring down cost by 20% within 6 months, and should not affect the customer's experience. The business analyst was the one monitoring and tracking the progress, okay? Because they were all collaborating during this entire project. Now, what was the final outcome? When they implemented all the different recommendations, they were able to save 23%. They had a 23% reduction in operational cost. Remember, the objective was to save 20. But by knowing the number of staff that should be in the store, by knowing the products that sells the highest, and creating a dashboard to track the inventory level so that that product never goes out of stock, by also implementing a self-checkout stall where customers can go to checkout, they were able to, execute more transactions. So they had a 23% reduction in operational cost, and they saved the company $2.2 million annually. All right, let's summarize everything and bring it home. Sarah, who was the business analyst, what did she do? She initiated the project, she discussed with the stakeholders, understood the requirements, she mapped out the initial process, came up with recommendations on how to optimize the checkout process, and said, let us implement a self-checkout kiosk. She also project managed the entire project of managing the team, the data analysts, the data scientists, having meetings with them to ensure that they are meeting the requirements and eventually meeting the requirements of the organization to reduce costs. That was BC's overall, delivery to this particular exercise. For BC to achieve this as a business analyst, BC needs to have certain set of skills. All right. BC needs to know how to use Excel, Power BI, and SQL for data analytics. BC needs to know how to map out processes, process mapping using tools like Draw.io, Lucidchart, and so many other diagramming tools that are available, Microsoft Visio, and so on and so forth. BC needed to know how to map out processes, and that was how she was able to map out the process of the current manual process, and she saw where the gaps were and recommended an optimized process, the future state of what the checkout process should look like. The business analyst must also know project initiation planning, how to plan a project, plan the scope, and also manage the project using different project management methodologies like Agile and Scrum. Agile, Scrum, Waterfall, and so on and so forth. Very critical to a business analyst. The software development lifecycle. The software development lifecycle involves the entire lifecycle of building a software. As a business analyst, you've gathered the requirements of what the company needs. This particular software needs to have, customers need to be, the checkout stall, customers need to be able to go there themselves. It should have a scanner that scans the customer's face. It should be able to scan the barcode on each product, give the customer, so all the requirements, everything required to build that self-checkout store, which also goes back to the software development lifecycle understanding. The business analyst needs to have that. Requirement fundamentals, of course, that's your bread and butter as a business analyst. You need to know how to gather requirements. What do we need from this solution to solve a particular problem? So requirement fundamentals, requirement gathering, you need to know that. Elicitation. So when BC gathered all the stakeholders, she was asking questions, the art of getting information, the art of interviewing, that's elicitation. You are getting information that you need. You document that information when you do your requirement fundamentals. You create a business requirement document that you'd leverage in solving that problem. And you can tick the box to see all the requirements you gathered. Have you met those requirements in the solution, the team is developing? So stakeholder analysis, you also need to know how to manage stakeholders. You need to know how to engage stakeholders and so on. And of course, leveraging tools like Confluence for Trello for stakeholder communication, Draw.io I mentioned earlier for process mapping and so on. Jira, you learn how to use Jira for tracking project deliverables, tasks, and objectives. You learn how to use Slack as well for communication when you have projects as a business analyst. And of course, I talked about Excel, Power BI, and SQL for data analytics. So business analysts today, and this is what makes Tenalytics absolutely phenomenal, all right? We move with the trend. We see what the market demands and what the market needs. As a business analyst, you also need to have the skill to manage data in Excel, to create pivot tables, pivot charts, do your own analysis, create dashboards in Excel. Same with Power BI. And of course, also know how to get data from databases and data warehouses with your knowledge of SQL, structured query language, all right? And of course, ChatGPT, prompt engineering for business analysis, ChatGPT for business analysis, which is also very crucial. And like I said, what we do is to look at what the market needs. Today, just like Dr. Kenneth said, you have tools that will make your life easier. As a medical doctor, a tool like ChatGPT is your assistant. I always tell people, ChatGPT is my own personal technical assistant. And I had a session on ChatGPT yesterday, how to use ChatGPT to build and solve problems in Excel and so on and so forth. So you need to know how to leverage these tools as a business analyst. And this is what gives you the opportunity to get the best jobs out there as a business analyst. What does it take to become a business analyst? 3 months, 2 months project-based classes, and 1 month internship. All right. So for 2 months, you have a project-based class. You work on projects. You are learning by solving projects. Experiential learning approach. You're not learning by watching a video. You're not learning by watching video and doing what you see on the video. No, you are learning by doing. You get a project for a particular company. This is the problem they have, and you get busy to solve that problem. How do we gather requirements? How do we initiate this project? How do we get the user stories and so on after implementation? How do we track the project deliverables? These are the things you'll be doing in class, all right? And your 1 month free internship is where you get to intern with us. You have a free internship designed to simulate the real life work environment, where you are doing things that you would do on the first day you get a job as a business analyst. And I'll share a couple of stories. So many, in terms of job opportunities, so many business analysts, they've joined Tenalytics, and they are working today in Canada, here in the UK, in terms of the job opportunities available, especially in Canada. Business analysis would get you the job almost immediately. What's the average salary? 52,500 UK pounds, British pounds per annum on the average, 74,000 Canadian dollars if you're in Canada, 85,000 US dollars, and this is the average for a business analyst. So these are the skills, because a lot of people find it very difficult to identify, what do I need to get into business analysis? Business analysis and data analytics, are they the same? All right, people have this confusion. Okay, are they the same? Are they different? And you can see now that they are different. BC's role, or Sarah's role, the business analyst, was not focused on analyzing the data or creating any dashboard. Her role was on what? Process optimization. How can we optimize the checkout process? How can I initiate this project, manage the deliverables? How can we collaborate, getting the right stakeholders to work on the project? That's the role of the business analyst. All right. Now let's move to the next. And of course, what would your class look like when you join our business analysis program? You have 2 classes. All right. Monday, you have Saturdays are for your live class. Okay, I think you have live classes on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, now what makes it amazing for you is you have the opportunity, irrespective of where you are. If you are in Nigeria, you are in the UK, you have the opportunity to join the morning class. So we have a class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. And then we have another class for those in Canada and in the US, which is in the evening, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you have a flexible class, a flexible, class design that gives you the opportunity to manage your own schedule. All right. So if the morning class is not good for you, you can move to the evening class and vice versa. So you have that flexibility as a business analysis participant with us at Tenalytics. And what are the roles you can join or you can get as a business analyst? People get this confused as well. As a business analyst, of course, you can apply to role as a business analyst, as a continuous improvement analyst, as a change management analyst, business support analyst, business systems analyst, IT business, and so many other roles. The reason why we emphasize on this is simply because I've seen a lot of people, based on conversations, they've learned or they have a particular skill, and all they do is to search for jobs on business analysts. They don't look at other roles because they don't know that, look, I can apply to a change management analyst role. I can apply to a business process analyst role because it requires the same set of skills that I've learned as an operations analyst. All right. So these are the things we bring to you. After learning the technical skill, we also help you learn the other parts that will help you get the job. And I'm coming to that to show you what sets you apart from the competition. Anybody can learn business analysis, but what stands you out when you stand in front of that interview panel, when you stand in front of people like Dr. Ken, what sets you apart from the competition? I'll be showing you what it entails. But let's move to the next role, which is the data engineering role. Remember what Ahmed did. Ahmed's role was to make the data available. That was his role. Make the data available. Data is in the POS. Data is in our website. Data is in the HR system. Data is in our inventory management system. Ahmed's role was to bring all that data into a central location. So he created a data warehouse. And by doing that, Kemi, the data analyst, could connect to that data warehouse to get data for analysis. Michael, the data scientist, was also able to get data for analysis. BC, the HR analyst, was also able to get data for analysis, and Linda as well. Without the data engineer, Ahmed, everybody would struggle to get data. So Ahmed's role is make data available. What are the skills Ahmed needed to extract data from the POS, structure the data in a way people can work with, and put it into that data warehouse? What skills did Ahmed need to learn to make that available? All right, so let's look at it. First of all, of course, introduction to data engineering. You must understand what you are getting into, the career path you are moving into, what you need to know. And SQL, structured query language. As a data engineer, you cannot run away from it. This is going to be your bread and butter. You can't run away from SQL as a data engineer, because that's what forms the background, the basis for your databases, your data warehouse, and so on and so forth. So you're going to learn SQL. You'd also learn Python. Python is the language you'd use to create your ETL pipelines. You're going to create your pipelines, build your pipelines using Python, automate the process, and so on. So if you are running away from Python, you are running away from programming, then becoming a data engineer might not be for you. But guess what? All our programs are beginner friendly, because 90% of people that come to us are just getting started. They've never done this before. So we designed the curriculum with the beginner in mind. All right. And that's why you start with introduction to data engineering. You don't jump to start building things. And of course, I'm going to, like I said, we'll take questions and answers, and would also have, I'll show you the platform. When you register and join any of our programs, what are you going to start with? What is the learning process going to look like in terms of your materials, the case studies, the projects? I'll showcase that to you. So you also learn Linux is also a critical tool you need to learn to become a data engineer. You build your ETL pipelines, connect to APIs, databases, and so on. You learn how to use Apache Spark, Apache Airflow for your orchestration and scheduling, your workflow management, and so on and so forth. You learn AWS cloud engineering, all right? So AWS cloud engineering is one of the most popular cloud platforms available. You have Google platform, you have Microsoft Azure, and you also have AWS, Amazon Web Services. This is the cloud engineering platform you learn. You need to know how to interact with cloud systems. You listen to Dr. Ken, where he talked about working in the cloud, getting data into the cloud, and so on and so forth. You'd also learn version control using GitHub. Now, you'd learn how to use Draw.io to create your ERD diagrams, okay? Because you're going to create entity relationship diagrams, all right? Now, these things I'm talking about all seems gibberish, because for some of you that don't have understanding of data engineering, what's an ERD diagram? An ERD diagram just shows how every table or how every entity in a data warehouse interacts with each other. Okay, so who is the parent? Who is the child? Where is what this table and this table? How do they, what's the relationship? All right, so you're going to create such diagrams using Draw.io and so on and so forth. How much does a data engineer earn on the average in the major economies? In the UK, £60,000 per annum. Canada, 92,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, 114,000 US dollars. And data engineers are very high in demand. Every day I get calls, Femena gets calls, recommend data engineers. Across the globe, I got a call in Nigeria, from Nigeria last month. An organization needed to fill 2 data engineering roles, all right? So across the globe, data engineers are very high in demand. So how long does it take you to become a data engineer? 4 months for you to get into a data engineering role. 3 months project-based classes. I emphasize on project-based, okay? Because that's different from the way we are used to learning. You go to university for 4 years, you come to the UK, you go to Canada, you do your master's for another 1 year, and all you are doing is writing research papers, analyzing research papers, doing research work, theoretical concepts. You're not learning the skills, practical skills to solve real-world problems. Organizations need people that will solve problems, not write papers, all right? So you're working on in a project-based environment, learning for 3 months, building the pipelines, scraping data from different websites, and doing amazing projects. And you would also intern for 1 month. Now, the internship, like I mentioned earlier, is one of the best things you can ever get yourself into, all right? You would simulate a real-life experience, similar to the case study I gave. You'd work for a company where your role is to scrape data from different systems and make the data available for the other people doing the internship, the data analyst, the HR analyst. They will depend on you to get the data for them in a data warehouse. So the internship is where you actually create amazing real-life projects that you speak and talk about during interviews, and that gives you the upper hand. And of course, you'd also learn how to use ChatGPT to make your work a lot easier. Now, for the data engineering class, you have classes on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sundays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's amazing. You have a trainer just like myself right in front of you. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You have the opportunity to engage your facilitator, and you get real-time feedback. Your facilitator writes a code. You try to implement that code. You don't get the same results. You have the opportunity to share your screen, and that person gets you, shows you what to do to debug that code and also address the issues that you have. As a data engineer, you can apply to so many roles. You can apply to data engineering roles, big data engineer, data architect, ETL developers, data quality engineer, data pipeline developer, cloud engineer, data warehouse engineer, and so on and so forth. So there are many roles within the data engineering spectrum that you don't only have to focus on looking for jobs as a data engineer. And that's the beauty of understanding the spectrum of the particular career path you are getting into. All right. So now that you know what the data, the business analyst, the data engineer, we then move to Kemi. Who is the data analyst? What do you need to become a data analyst? What do you need to get started as a data analyst? Kemi was able to build a dashboard to track the inventory level so that no item would, go out of stock before a reorder is triggered. So she set a reorder level. When the item gets to 100, reorder for more items so we don't go out of stock. All right. And by doing this, they were able to keep products available within the store and get customers to buy those products as required. For Kemi to do this, she needed to have skills in problem solving. That's the first thing you need to have as a data analyst. You need to know how to break down problems into multiple parts. You need to know how to solve problems. You need to know the right techniques, the right tools to deploy, the McKinsey model. You need to understand the framework to solving projects in a data analytics environment, which is the CRISP DM framework. CRISP DM, the cross-industry standard process for data mining. The cross-industry standard process for data mining. So these are the things you would learn during your problem-solving class. And of course, you would learn Excel for data analytics, how to manage data in Excel, how to analyze the data, how to build pivot tables, how to build dashboards, pivot charts, use the VLOOKUP, the XLOOKUP, how to use Excel to the best of its capabilities in data analytics. You'd learn SQL, structured query language. If you are getting into any role in data, you cannot run away from SQL. You can't run away from it. That's the number one skill every organization would want you to have as a data analyst. You learn business intelligence tools like Power BI and Tableau. You'd learn how to use Power BI and Tableau. Now, most, other companies, what they do is you learn either Power BI or Tableau. But what we do is you learn the two as a data analyst. Do you know why? If you want to know why, ask me why in the chat. Why do you think you learn Power BI and Tableau together? Type it into the chat. Ask me why. Why do you learn Power BI and Tableau? Okay, so I'm going to tell you why now. Why both? Fantastic. Now, what you'll find out most of the time is some organizations have a preference for Power BI. So they want you to come into the organization. They only want you to know Power BI as the business intelligence tool. Okay. So if you don't know Power BI and you know Tableau, so let's assume Tenalytics only offers Tableau. What happens? You cannot apply to that job because you don't know Power BI. We also saw that some specific organizations, especially organizations in the US, North America region, they have a preference for Tableau. So which means that if you have learned Power BI and you don't know how to use Tableau as a data analyst, what happens? You cannot apply to that job. So rather than finding yourself in that situation, what did we do? When we saw the market changing and moving towards that trend, we had to rejig our curriculum to add both Tableau and Power BI. And that's the reason why you need these two skills as a data analyst. You need to know how to create amazing visualizations, do your data analysis end-to-end using Power BI and Tableau. And of course, data storytelling. So data storytelling, you've done all the amazing things you need to do. How do you tell a story? How do you get the decision makers to take decisions based on your recommendations? How do you communicate? And one of the ways we've embedded communication skills into all the programs we offer is you have weekly presentations. When you solve a problem, when you have classes on Saturdays, during the week, you have a presentation. All right. So if you are somebody who normally you have issues with speaking, when you join our program, you'll be forced to present because you'd work together in groups. So you start to break all those, I would say, all those habits that have stopped you from getting jobs. All right. I started to speak the way I speak now by getting into data analytics, because you're going to present to your directors, you present to your line managers. So you can't not know how to communicate. All right. So you've built amazing stuff. You've done amazing work in Power BI, Tableau. You've seen where the problem is in the company. How do you tell the story so that the company decides that, oh, this is where the problem is. This is what we need to do. How can the head of operations, how can the director of the company, how can your line manager, the COO, the CFO, how can they take decisions based on what you've done? That's why data storytelling is very, very crucial. ChatGPT for analytics. Of course, you can't run away from it. We had a session yesterday on ChatGPT for analytics using Excel. It was a fantastic one. And you get to learn how to implement all these things. And of course, Microsoft Fabric for data analytics. Microsoft Fabric is also a new technology. It's an all-in-one platform for data. So you have a data engineering material, you have a data science material, you have a data analytics material. They're called Fabric items. So what Microsoft is trying to do, and I'll tell you the rationale why you need to learn Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft is trying to put all their applications into one system. Okay, so if you want to do your data analytics, you want to build a dashboard, you want to analyze data, you can do it inside Microsoft Fabric. If you want to build a data lake, a data warehouse, and so on, you can also do it inside Fabric. If you want to create a machine learning model, you want to forecast, you want to do all those things you do, you can also do it inside Fabric. So organizations would start to transition into Microsoft Fabric. So you having the skills, having learned with analytics, gives you that opportunity, gives you that, upper hand against the competition out there. All right. So now, how long does it take you to get into data analytics with us at Tenalytics? 4 months. 3 months project-based classes. You'd work on fantastic, brilliant projects where you'd implement your skills, you'd use Power BI, and I'll show you some of the things our participants are doing on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is your #1 repository. When you build things at Tenalytics, you post on LinkedIn for the world to see your skills. And so many people have gotten jobs by just doing that. And of course, you have your 1-month internship as well. How much does a data analyst earn on the average? In the UK, £40,000. In Canada, it's about 64,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, it's about 72,000 US dollars, right? And the class is also very flexible for the data analytics program, okay? So Saturdays is when you have your live classes. You don't have a live class on Sunday. Your live class is on Saturday. And we've also made it simple and made it easy for those in other regions, all right? So if you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana, you are in Africa, you are somewhere in Europe, in the UK, you are in a similar time zone. So you have your class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We call it the morning class or the EU class, all right? And then we have another class again for those in the US, in Canada, and in the North American regions, and also across Asia, where you have, drastic time difference. We have another class in the evening from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, so if the morning class does not favor you in terms of your time zone or your schedule, you get to join the evening class. So you have that opportunity and flexibility. And that also gives you the opportunity, irrespective of where you are, any region across the globe, you have a class to join at Tenalytics. Now, Sundays, you don't have a live class on Sunday. You have a self-paced class. So it's a blended learning approach. It's a hybrid learning approach. On Sundays, you get something we call the bite-sized videos. Watch me do it videos. So you get a video from me, for example. I have solved and explain some concepts in those videos. So you take those concepts, you practice them by watching the videos. And on Saturday, where you have your live class, you get to use those things you've learned to solve problems on a case study. All right. So your Saturday classes are practical based, 100%. And on Sundays, you have a flexible arrangement where at your own convenience, if you have to go to church in the morning, you can watch your videos in the afternoon. You can watch it in the evening. You can break it down, watch it during the week, as long as you watch those videos before the next class the following Saturday. And that's the beauty of learning with us at Tenalytics. And of course, as a data analyst, your opportunities are they're just too much. The opportunities are immense. Okay. And of course, we can't put every single role here, but as a data analyst, you can apply to data analyst roles, supply chain analyst roles, business intelligence analyst roles. Who remembers business intelligence as one of the roles in, if you remember, the business intelligence as one of the roles here. Okay. You see that as one of the growing jobs, the in-demand jobs, business intelligence. So you can apply to jobs as a business intelligence analyst, as a marketing analyst, product analyst, sales analyst, logistics analyst, operations analyst. Somebody got a job last week here in the UK. Let me tell you the job he got. I'd never seen it before. I only got to see the role when he applied because he's a medical doctor. And people ask the question, as a medical doctor, I still want to work in medicine. I don't want to move away from the health sector. He got a job with the NHS, and guess the job title. I'm going to write it on my screen. The job title is a pathology data analyst. Okay, a pathology data analyst. I wrote his reference. The NHS sent the reference to me. Oh, this gentleman applied to us. We've seen him fit to join our company. We want to confirm he's of good character and so on. And I filled his reference. The role was a pathology data analyst. So like I said, the roles available are just so much. Okay, and that's one of the things we teach you. Don't only apply to data analyst roles. There are so many roles to apply to, looking at the entire ecosystem of that particular career path. All right, let's move to the next role, the data scientist. As a data scientist, Michael, what did he do? He did a time series analysis to see the periods where we have sales and so on and so forth. And he also built a linear regression model that helped him to identify how many staff should be available on a particular day. What did that do for the company? They were able to reduce their employee costs with regards to overtime because they could now predict the number of employees to, bring on schedule based on the number of customers. How was Michael able to build a linear regression model and carry out a time series analysis? He was able to do this by understanding statistics. Number one skill as a data scientist. Now, statistics is so important because you would be forecasting into the future. You'll be looking into the future. So your forecasting, your predictive analytics is hinged on what? Statistics. So all those things you've learned in high school, first year in the university, which is measure of central tendency, the mean, the median, and mode, and so on and so forth. Guess what? They become very, very important because this is the application. How do you apply statistics to solving problems? So that's the very first thing you'd learn. So you'd learn how to forecast, you'd learn predictive analytics using Excel. So yes, you are learning Excel, just like the data analyst would learn, but the area would be a little bit different. Here, you'd be focusing on predictive analytics using Excel. You'd learn how to use different forecasting techniques, from the naive approach to the exponential smoothing to the moving average technique to the, so many different linear regression, learning how to predict what would happen in the future. You'd learn Tableau for data analytics and predictive analytics, SQL, structured query language to interact with databases, and then Python. You have to know how to use Python as a data scientist, because what would you be doing as a data scientist? You'll be using Python to build machine learning models. You use Python to carry out exploratory data analysis, understanding the data, getting insights from the data, data visualization, and eventually building your machine learning models, and also computer vision. All right. So you build computer vision programs and projects where you'd build a program that can detect the hand. I'll showcase it to you. What our students, what they do. You build a program that can detect your hand, that can detect the face, that can detect your pose. All right. And why is this important? Why is a computer vision program important for you? Now, a lot of you use iPhones, you use Android phones that have facial recognition, all right? You can also see my screen where I have things at the back behind me, but you can only see my body, my face, and my hands. Why? Because there is a computer vision program that is only designed to detect the human being in front of the screen and fade away everything behind. I have things behind me, but you can't see them. You can only see me. So programs like this are the things you'll be building in the data science program. And as a data scientist, how much do you earn in the UK per annum? It's £50,000. In Canada, about 94,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, 6 figures right off the bat, 121,000 US dollars. How long does it take you to learn? 4 months. 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. You'd also learn how to use ChatGPT for data science. Now, today, you write a code, very long code, you run the code, you have an error, and you have no clue why you have an error. ChatGPT helps you debug your codes. And that's the beauty of AI. Dr. Kenneth summarized it. Okay, AI would not take your job. It would complement what you do. All right. So you'd learn how to use ChatGPT to do amazing stuff. You'd also learn Microsoft Fabric for data science. So these are the technologies you'd learn as a data scientist with Tenalytics. And of course, the timing is also flexible. All right. You have classes that fit into any region, depending on where you are. You can join the morning class, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., or you can join the evening class, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you're in Canada, 4 p.m. is around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in the morning, depending on your province. If you're in the US, Eastern time, 4 p.m. is around 11 a.m. as well. So you can join the program easily without any hassle. You don't have to wake up odd hours to be a part of the program. Now, your live classes are on Saturdays, and on Sundays, you don't have a live class. You have your Watch Me Do It, self-paced learning. So it's a blended approach. Some people would say, oh, I'm a slow learner. I don't learn very fast. So you have a blended approach that takes everybody into consideration, irrespective of your learning pace. You don't have to be a fast learner to be in any of the programs. And the programs, like I mentioned, are designed to fit into the beginner mindset. So you've never done this before. I studied industrial chemistry, nothing related to tech. Efemena studied economics. Dr. Ken studied physics and geophysics as his master's degree. So again, how were we able to transition? And that's the beauty of a skill-based career path. So when you learn a skill-based career path, what happens? You are able to learn the skill, put the skill into practice, working on projects, and then you can apply to jobs. So during your internship as a data scientist, you'd work with a data engineer, you'd work with a data analyst. The data engineer would get the data that you would use to create your models, do your predictions, and so on and so forth. It's a fantastic learning experience. And as a data scientist, you can work in the capacity of a data scientist, a fraud analyst, a data analyst, a pricing analyst, sales analyst, supply chain analyst, market research analyst, and there are so many other areas as a data scientist you get the opportunity to get to work, right? Now let's move. We're getting to the end, very close to the end, where I can start to take your questions, okay? In the next 10 minutes, we wrap up, and then we take your questions. I tell you when the next program starts, what it takes for you to be a part of the program. And remember, I want to show you an amazing story. We have so many amazing stories, but this is the most recent because this happened very recent. A stay-at-home mom who had not worked for 4 years, she joined our program and she was able to transition and get a job with the NHS in the UK. And that's the mission of Tenalytics. The job is fully sponsored. If you don't know what full sponsorship means, it means she's going to work on a skilled worker visa for 5 years, all right? And if she stays for 5 years in the country, she can then apply for something called ILR, indefinite leave to remain. If you have an indefinite leave to remain in the UK, this gives you citizenship after a year. Okay, so, and of course, this is what everybody who comes to the UK, this is what they want to achieve eventually. So you'd listen to her, how she was able to do it. It's a 2-minute video, always very fantastic to listen to that particular video. So let's wrap up as quickly as we can, all right? BC, the HR analyst, what did she do? She was able to get data as well and created a dashboard that focused on the people in the organization. And she saw that everybody was coming to the store and everybody had overtime, and that was what was leading to the burnout. So what did she do? She was able to track the employee's schedule and overtime to know who should be in the store, who should not come to the store. Also leveraging the model that Michael had built to help to predict. So that was what BC did. How was BC able to create the dashboard? How was she able to analyze the people-related data? As a HR analyst, your role is to ensure that you support the company to achieve its objective through its people by carrying out analytics and so on and so forth, okay? So problem solving is your number one skill, how to solve problems, how to use Excel to analyze data, build dashboards, understand your data, create, extract insights to help the company take decisions. You learn how to use Power BI for business intelligence, for data visualization, carrying out data analytics, and so on. And of course, SQL. You need to know how to interact with databases, get your data from a database, and so on and so forth. HR analytics and performance evaluation. So what are the different types of measure? How do we measure the performance of the organization with regards to the people within that organization? You look at the different HR metrics from absenteeism to attrition to turnover, and so talent development, and so on and so forth. You'd also learn how to build dashboards. You'd learn how to automate your reports. You'd learn something very critical called building your case and creating action. For a HR analyst, you find yourself stereotyped or profiled as somebody who does not do anything. A lot of people feel HR don't do anything, okay? That HR professionals, they only know what, oh, this person is going on leave, sending policies and so on. So we help you build that confidence to start to tell the story of the organization using data, all right? And of course, you'd learn ChatGPT for analytics. Average salary of the HR analysts, £32,500 in the UK, 71,000 Canadian dollars in Canada, 62,000 US dollars. How long does it take you to get into HR analytics? 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship, all right? And of course, you have your classes as well, broken down. Saturdays are your live classes, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sundays are your watch me do it self-paced videos. You get to watch the bite-sized video, and on the following Saturday, you implement it working on a project with your trainer and your facilitator, all right? And as a HR analytics professional, you can work as a HR analyst, HR data analyst. We have a participant who got a job with one of the largest telecommunications company in Canada, and the title was HR data analyst. Okay, you can work as a talent acquisition analyst, diversity and inclusion analyst, performance evaluation, performance management analyst, workforce planning, so many other roles across the HR analytics value chain. And last but not the least is the financial analyst. What did the financial analyst do? Linda. What did Linda do, if you remember? Linda carried out the cost-benefit analysis, and she also helped the company do the financial analysis of what they would save if they implemented all those recommendations. All right. That was Linda's role, focusing on the financial data, helping the company make data-driven decisions, helping the company understand the financial impact of the project they were about to implement and recommend. So what does it take for you to become a financial analytics professional? Problem solving, of course, I've explained that. Excel, to know how to analyze financial related data in Excel, using Power BI, interact with databases using SQL. So our financial analytics program is broken down into investment banking, finance, and data analytics. All right, so you have the data analytics bit where you learn Excel, you learn Power BI, you learn SQL, and then you get to learn accounting fundamentals. Okay, you learn to analyze financial data, financial analysis, different ratios. What do you need to look at for profitability, and so on and so forth. You build financial models from scratch for different type of companies in different industries. You'd also learn how to carry out valuation, how to value businesses and so on, and then sensitivity and scenario analysis. Average salary of the financial analyst, 51,000. Every company needs a financial analytics professional. Finance is the language of a business, any business in the world. It's either you are commercially focused or you are not for profits. And even if you are not for profits, you get funding or you get grants or you get money from donations. How do you utilize that money to achieve the objective? You need a finance analyst to help you do that. Okay, in the UK, 51,000 pounds per annum, Canada, 69,000 Canadian dollars, US, 74,000 US dollars. How long does it take you to get into this? 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And of course, you have a flexible class as well. Live classes are on Saturdays in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Sundays are for your Watch Me Do It self-paced video. So you don't have a live class on Sunday. You watch videos, bite-sized videos, where you get to learn concepts and apply those concepts the following Saturday together with your trainer, industry experts that will be helping you make that transition. All right. So as a financial analytics professional, you can work as a commercial analyst, investment analyst, sales analyst, financial modeling analyst, corporate finance analyst, investment banker, and so many other roles within the space. Now, to start to wrap up, why should you train with us? There are so many platforms available out there. Why should you train with Tenalytics? Number one, our curriculum is designed by the best industry experts, by myself, by Femena, and other industry experts. I'll be sharing their profile with you. Now, we do this so that you have an up-to-date curriculum. You are learning what is relevant for you to transition and get a job in the industry. You're also learning not just from anybody who has learned on YouTube or learned on Coursera or learned by watching videos on different platforms. You are learning from industry experts, people that have done the job. They've worked for the biggest and the best organizations across the globe. Those are the people that will be your facilitators, that will be your trainers, helping you make that transition into tech. We operate a blended training approach to accommodate everybody. You've seen the way the classes are structured, the live classes, the Watch Me Do It classes, where it is self-paced. So you can do what? You get to catch up with some of the things you learn in class and nobody's left behind. We have additional employability services, and this is the most important part. The technical skill is easy to learn, but how do you get a job? And that is where the additional employability services comes into play. If you don't have this, be an expert in anything, you'll still not get a job, all right? And I'll break down what that additional employability services entail. And last but not the least is our internship. The internship is designed to simulate the real world environment. So when you're asked the question, have you done this before? Your answer would be yes. Tell me about a time. So it's like what Dr. Kenneth said. You have so many certificates here and there, and they ask you a simple question. What's the difference between a supervised, machine learning model and an unsupervised machine learning model? Or what's the difference between a simple linear regression and multiple linear regression? You start to think. You cannot answer basic questions like that. And those are the things you get to do during the internship. So you've done it and you're speaking from the point of knowledge. The proof of work, you have that. You have your GitHub profile, all right? And by completing this, you get into the tech career path you want to get into eventually, all right? Now, what are the additional employability services? Number one is your CV. Any program you join with us at Tenalytics, we help you review your CV. If you don't have a CV, we show you how to build one. We show you how to tailor your CV to job descriptions. So when you apply to a job, you don't get that rejection. And even if you get the rejection, it won't be because your CV is not good enough or your CV does not match that particular job you're applying to. So how do you tailor your CV? You'll have CV sessions that will show you how to do that. Your CV is yourself in paper format. Your CV is your representation in paper format. So if any system sees your CV, would your CV contain all the flavors? Would it contain the keywords to get invited for an interview? That's a big question. So that's what would help you do. Would help you optimize your LinkedIn profile so you can get and attract the biggest organizations. Would help you with your Upwork profile. If you don't have Upwork, would set up one for you. If you already have one, we help you optimize so you can apply and get remote jobs. Not everybody would be in the UK. Not everybody would be in the US or in Canada or across Europe in the major economies. However, you can still apply and get jobs and work remotely, work on projects for the biggest organizations in these regions. I would show you how to do it. Somebody was asking me the other time, or sent a message to the chat, what websites can I apply to get remote jobs? That's what you do during navigating the job market. Would show you how to apply to jobs, where to get these jobs, where are the jobs, what websites do you need to leverage, how do you get those jobs, and start to work depending on the country you want to get, to work in, and so on and so forth. For those companies, for those organizations that would need you to be in the country to work remotely, we help you navigate and break down that, barrier so that you know exactly what to do. References and recommendations, very, very crucial. Every organization wants to know that there is somebody that can vouch for you, that you are of good character. I talked about the gentleman who got a job as a pathology data analyst. The NHS reached out to me to provide, all they do is they send you an email, send you a link. This person sent this. Can you confirm? Can you also indicate how many times was he sick? How many times was he absent? What are his strengths? Where do you think he needs improvement? So they ask all these questions so they can get insights into your character and the type of person you are. Interview preparation. How do you answer questions? If you find yourself in front of somebody like Dr. Kenneth, how do you preempt the questions that he's likely going to ask? How do you prepare for those questions? And from my experience, I always say this every time so people can take it home and also go and prepare for themselves. How do you answer the question, tell me about yourself? People ramble and say all sorts of things. How do you explain your career journey? You need to know how to do that. So we prepare you for interviews. We have weekly mentorship sessions to hold your hands, help you navigate the journey, help you transition. If you are getting rejections, you need somebody that will tell you that, look, it is normal, is one of the things you would learn. Last week, I taught them how to tailor their CVs using ChatGPT. How do you tailor your CV to job requirements? And these are the crucial things that makes the difference for our participants. And on-the-job support. So you've gotten a job would help you ensure that you keep that job and you don't lose the job because you might need some little bit of hand-holding to stabilize you along the line, all right? So you work with the best professionals. You'd work with myself, you'd work with Femena, you'd work with Toyin. Toyin is a senior data associate with us. You'd work with Mohammed. Mohammed was the one that worked with the lady who got a job after 4 years. So you'd listen to her when she speaks. Oladapo is a senior consultant with Deloitte in Bermuda. Oladapo is also another fantastic professional. Olugbemi Akaribo works with the Law Depot in Canada. He's going to work with you as well. We have Brima, who is a senior data associate. Toma Obina, who works in Canada as a data scientist. Ibrahim, who is a medical doctor turned machine learning engineer, who is also going to work with you. You have Abdurrahman, who is a data science consultant. You have Chinazam, who is a data scientist. So many professionals, all right, across different regions that will be helping you to make that switch into your preferred tech career path. I'm going to come back to ask you if you still maintain the same career path you chose initially when I asked the first question, all right? Our next cohort starts on the 7th of October. And a lot of people have been asking, Adeza, what does it take? I want to join your program. How much do I need to pay? Before we go into that, I want you to listen to Ikmat. Ikmat, a full stay-at-home mom. She had not worked for 4 years. She was out of job for 4 years. And she decided to get back into the job market. She joined our data analytics program. She got a job about 2 weeks ago, working with the NHS with full sponsorship. All right? So we're going to listen to Ikmat. We'll listen to Ikmat's story, and then I'll come back to tell you how much the program is, and I'll take questions from you, and then we'll call it a day. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to click on the link, and it will take us to Ikmat's video. Okay, just give me 1 second to set it up, and then we'll get going. Okay, sorry. I'm sure everybody's excited and are eager to listen to what Ikmat has to say. It's always very fantastic listening to Ikmat myself. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play it, and then I'll ask you if you can hear the audio to be sure we can all hear what Ikmat is saying. So I'm going to click now, and let's see if we can hear Ikmat. Please let me know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You can hear the ad.
This is really shocking, isn't it?
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in Tenalytics, and joining Tenalytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Tenalytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in Tenalytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, you have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because he was like, he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have Tenalytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable one I've come across so far, and that's a very good advantage. So yes, Tenalytics for the win.
Tenalytics for the win, any day, anytime. So that's Ikmat, and that's Ikmat telling a story, really. And there's so many. I could play Ramat, but of course, I'm not going to bore you with too many videos. You'd have access to the slides. I'm going to share my slides with you. You get the recording, and you get to listen to these amazing stories. Ramat was also able to get a job in the UK as a business analyst after 3 months of training with us. So what does it take for you to get into our program? To get into our program, if you're paying in Canadian dollars, it's 600 Canadian dollars. If you're paying in pounds, it's 400 pounds. If you're paying in Naira, it's 320,000 Naira. But remember, I have a special discount for you guys, for those who will be joining from this particular session, okay? So depending on the program you're trying to join, what's the discount? Now, instead of paying 600 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 500. Instead of paying 320,000 Naira, you get to pay 270. And instead of paying 400 pounds, you get to pay 300 pounds. And we've also made it flexible so that it's easy for you to get into the program. Remember, it starts on the 7th of October, and this discount is available to the first 20 people to register for the program. All right, so you can make payment in 2 installments. If you're paying in Canadian dollars, instead of paying the full payment at once, which could be a stretch on your finances, you can make the first payment 350 to start, and then the second payment 1 month after the program starts. If you're paying in Naira, you pay 180 to get into class, and then 90,000 1 month after the program commences. They're paying in pounds, instead of paying the whole 300 pounds at once, which is a discounted fee, you get to pay 200 pounds to start, and then £100 1 month after the program must have commenced. Now, data engineering is a bit different in terms of the fee. The discounted fee for data engineering, instead of 700 Canadian dollars, is 600. Instead of 450,000 Naira, is 350. And instead of 500 pounds, it's 400 pounds. And of course, you can also make payments in 2 installments of 450, 150, 250, 100, 1 month after the program commences. That's when you're expected to make the balance payment. 300 pounds to start, and then 100 pounds to be a part, to make your balance payments. And once you make payments, you receive a welcome kit from us, all right? The welcome kit comes in, shows you every single thing in terms of your lesson plan, your timetable, the different applications you need to download and install, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is what it takes to be a part of our program. And every program you register for, be it data analytics, business analysis, data science, HR analytics, financial analytics, once you get into the program, every other additional services, your CV review, your LinkedIn optimization, internship, the mentorship sessions, it all comes with every single program that we offer. How do you make payments? My colleagues would send the link into the chat, okay, for those who want to take advantage. Guys, remember, the first 20 people to join the data analytics, the business analysis, get the discount, okay? First 20 people get the discount. It's not opened, in perpetuity to everybody. So once you click on this link, which my colleague would also share in the chat, you'd also get in the slide. All you have to do, depending on how you want to pay, all right? If you're making payments in Naira, you'd see the Naira payment. Click on the link that says full or first payment. And once you click on that, you'd see the option to make your payments, okay? So let's assume I'm joining the business analysis, for example. It takes you to Paystack. Click on the business analysis, and you can select your payment, either the full payment or part payment. Let's assume I want to make the full payment. I click on this link, and then I click on what? Full payment. And this gives me the full payment, the discounted fee. Instead of $320, you get to pay $270. All right. If I want to make the part payment and make the balance payment later, I simply come here and select part payments, and I can make the payment of $180 to get into the class and make the balance payment afterwards. So this is making payments in Naira for those of you that want to make payments in Naira. And for those who are Ghanaians, we have so many Ghanaians that have joined our program, and the way they pay is simple. They also make payments using the Paystack. So it converts the Naira into the Ghanaian CD equivalent for you to make payments. Now, you are somewhere in Germany, you are in Poland, you also want to be a part of the program. How do you make payments? You go to the PayPal option, okay? You see the option to pay using PayPal. Click on any of the full payments or part payments. Let's assume I want to make part payments to data analytics. I click on part payments, and it takes me to the PayPal. And all I have to do, I click on buy now, and then you'd see where it says enter your card details. You want to make payments using your credit or debit card, and then you can go ahead and make payments using that. Okay. You can also do a direct transfer to us. Direct transfer, we have our UK account and then the Naira account. So you can pay to our Fidelity Bank account using, if you want to make payments in Naira, or you can make payments to our pound account if you want to make payments in pounds. So these are the options, multiple options. And the moment you make payments, how do we confirm your payments? Come, or still on the same link, click on upload your initial or full receipts. Once you click on this link, it takes you to where you fill the form, the October cohort Tenalytics program. You enter your details and upload your receipts. The moment we confirm your proof of payment, you get a welcome kit from us, and your journey into tech commences. All right. So this is what it takes for you to be a part of a Tenalytics program. You also have access to all the brochures, which would give you the breakdown, the nitty-gritty of all the programs. You click on this, it takes you to the brochure, and then you can go ahead and see the different areas, HR analytics, look at the brochure just to get a sense. If I click on data analytics, for example, you would see the data analytics brochure, and then you can go through it. Okay, what will I learn? What are the different things I'll learn in Excel? I'm going to learn how, first of all, you start with understanding the Excel environment. Okay, so you don't jump to building things. We don't believe in learning in that way. You start from the basics because we have the beginner in mind. All right, so that's how you get, to make payments, upload your payments, and so on. And of course, if I were you and I want to take advantage of the discount, what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot. If I want to make a direct transfer and make payments immediately, take a screenshot and get to make my payments immediately. All right, remember, the discount is only available for the first 20 people to join from this session. A lot of people would, yesterday, for example, a lot of people would say, oh, we're getting salaries this week. Can we pay during the week? Absolutely, you can. All right. And if you want to get in touch with us at any point in time, you can send a message to any of our numbers, the UK number, all right? Or you can send us a WhatsApp message to any of these numbers, and one of our customer success associates would get in touch with you, all right? So again, you get the slides. Remember that the discount is only for the first 20 people to be a part of the program. So I'm going to take in some questions, and while I do that, Efemena is going to show us the platform. All right, you get the slides like I mentioned. You listen to Solomon's story. Solomon, an engineering graduate who got a job as a financial analyst after completing our financial analytics program. We also have Ngufan, who also joined the program and has done amazing stuff as a data analyst as well. You've listened to Ikmat, also listened to Rafiat as well, listened to their stories, and of course, walk through all the different success stories. Let me tell you a bit about Benga. I love telling Benga's story. Benga got a job in Poland after joining our program. For 3 years, he had been in Poland, struggling to get a job. He joined our program sometime in February, the data analytics program. And before he completed his program, he started to get interviews. I worked with him during his interviews, and our other associates also worked with him during his interviews. And guess what? He landed a job. He sent me a message, boss, I got this job. I was super excited for him. And of course, apart from the fact that he got the job he's doing today, he also got 3 more offers. 3 more offers apart from the job he's doing. He sent me a message that was about 2 weeks ago. He got confirmed earlier than anticipated. He was meant to have a 3 months probationary period, but he got confirmed before the 3 months, and he sent the screenshots of the email to me. He was super excited, telling me that it's not even 3 months, but I've been confirmed. Thank you again for your input. I was super excited for him. Fantastic. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. So this is Benga's story, working as a business data analyst for one of the major companies in Poland. All right. So I'm going to take questions. Of course, listen to all the testimonials when you get the video, when you get the slides, watch all the videos, listen to all the amazing people that have done amazing stuff. Konedu joined us from Ghana. Sheila also joined our HR analytics program from Ghana. So many Ghanaians, Zimbabweans, South Africans, Jamaicans, and, outside of the African community, but mostly majorly within the African community, because that's what we stand for, to bring as many people into the tech ecosystem. So if you have questions, please feel free to use the raised hand icon, or you can simply send your question to the chat, and I'll be very happy to answer those questions. So those are the numbers Abdulhamid is asking. All right, you have the numbers on the screen. You can just take a screenshot so you don't miss it. All right, so I'm going to take questions from Ufoma. Ufoma, go ahead and ask your question. Let's hear from you.
Hi, Daisy. My question, well, is it a question or more of like clarification between, you grouped all of the courses together and with the discounted rate. So why is the data engineering slightly different from all the other courses when it comes to the cost? Because I'm kind of swaying between the data analyst training and the data engineering. So I just need to understand why there's a difference in the cost of the training.
All right, very good question, Ufoma. So first of all, 2 major reasons, okay? The first reason is the technologies you'll be deploying. All right, you'll be learning some very interesting and advanced technologies. First of all, secondly, you'd also the skills as a data engineer is not available out there. All right, it's a very hard to get skill, in the sense that you want to recruit a data engineer today, you would struggle to find one. And that's why the role is very high in demand. So to get somebody to train you, to employ somebody to train you as a data engineer also costs a lot of money. All right, so that's why you see the difference in the price of the data engineering program. All right, and of course, in terms of the technologies you'll be learning, it's also one of the technologies that you learn advanced technologies to become a data engineer. In the past, what happened in the past is software engineers were the one transitioning to data engineering. You would not see somebody from a different background becoming a data engineer. Software engineers were the ones transitioning. But today, one of the things we did was to look at the demand of the market. Okay, what does companies out there, what do they need? All right. And given the different requests from recruiters putting calls across to me, to Efemena, we came up with a comprehensive curriculum to ensure that as a data engineer, you learn all the skills that you need to get a job within the space. Okay, so those are the two broad reasons why that exists. And I hope I answered the question, Ufoma.
Very well, Adeze. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. It's also 4 months. Okay, it's a 4 months learning program as well. So 4 months intensive and immersive program. And of course, like I said, Efemena would show us the platform just before we wrap up today. So let's take more questions. If you have more questions, please feel free to ask your question. That's why we are here. Okay, if you can also send your questions to the chat, and I'll pick and answer the questions from there as well. So while we are, can someone from developing country, non-African? Absolutely, you can apply. Like I said, we've had Jamaicans, we've had Syrians joining our program. Somebody from Syria who is a Syrian, somebody from Jamaica who is a Jamaican joining our program. Okay, so absolutely anybody can be a part of our program to get into tech. So let's get back, let's take questions. And while we are waiting for more questions, if we could just go ahead to show us the platform, what the platform looks like in terms of when you join. And this is the beauty of what we offer in terms of the platform as well. You don't miss anything. So let's assume on a Saturday you have a class and for some reason you have an emergency and you really could not attend class that particular day. What happens? All the sessions are available for you. They are recorded. Just go to the platform, you have access, and then you go ahead to watch the recording. You have the materials, and that gives you access to everything you need to learn. Okay? Chibike, your background doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. You could have studied Yoruba in the university and you will still become a data scientist. I studied industrial chemistry, like I mentioned. I've worked, some of the best people I've worked with, they studied psychology, physiology, and things totally unrelated to tech. It's a skill-based career path. Once you learn the skill, that gives you access to getting a job. All right, Ife, over to you.
All right, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys have learned a lot from the session we had today. And getting started with, this career path is very, very easy with us. Okay. So like Adeza has rightly mentioned, all the training programs are virtual programs. So we're going to be having classes via Google Meet or Zoom or whatever the platform may be. And these sessions are fully recorded in the sense that regardless of anywhere you are in the world, if you're today in Nigeria and you relocate probably for business or whatever, you move to Ghana or something, you will still be able to attend the session. So regardless of anywhere you are in the world, you should ideally be able to attend the sessions. So I'm just going to show you, this is the Google Classroom. So being the fact that I have access to all the training programs, so you see that all the sessions are here right from inception till now. We have all the training programs stored, all right, for your consumption. So as I mentioned at the start of the session, you have lifetime access to the materials, to the videos, to all the things, to the platform. You have lifetime access. So even if you start a program, you might likely forget. We're all human. So do you understand? You could always go back to revisit, to watch the videos and all that. So I'm just going to show you some of obviously everything I like. So I'm just going to pick just some of the programs that you could actually learn from. So I'm going to start with data analytics. I'm going to show you data analytics. These are the guys that started, this month, September. Okay, so you can see the numbers there, 2309. Okay, so these are the guys that started this month. Okay, so if you're looking to start next month, you need to register now, not tomorrow. Okay. All right. So let me scroll down just to show you how the classes are arranged. Okay. So you see everything is arranged methodologically, okay, in the sense that from the start of once you register, okay, you will get access to the Google Classroom. All right, and you can see the onboarding materials are clearly stated what you need to get started in the training program. So from downloading Power BI to installing Postgres to Tableau to all the things that you need to get ready. And to be very honest, we usually close, our registration period very early in order for us to get everybody on board before the training starts. So the training starting on the 7th of October doesn't mean registration is ending on the 7th of October. So we like to get started way earlier than when the training starts. So you see, you get your onboard materials and you get everything ready just to get you ready for the class. So we still have an onboarding call, okay, where we get to welcome you to the training program, where we get to tell you more about the training program, how the program is going to flow and all that. Then we go into the first class, the first live class. And like I said, the classes are recorded. So even if they set them to the class that you really didn't grasp, okay, when you ask the question and the question was answered and you want to revisit it again, definitely you could always go back and you see class recording. You can always go back to class recording. And you see here, this is Nene, one of our experienced facilitator, wealth of experience, coming from management consulting to tech, to finance, to investment banking, so on and so forth. I'm going to share a profile with you just as we go on, okay? So let's just take a look at that while that is loading. So you see the classes are like that, are structured in that manner, okay? Now the good thing is, your weekend, like Adizan mentioned, you for the data analytics, you get self-paced videos, watch me do it videos. We call them watch me do it videos. These are videos that you can use to practice and get better at your skills. So, after your first class in problem solving, you're given the Microsoft Excel, the first video, watch me do it videos, where you can use to practice. So you see these videos are bite-sized videos, meaning that they're not long. They're not like 5 hours, 3 hours, or anything like that. They're just few minutes, 20 minutes, 17 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes videos that you could use to quickly practice and get started, with you getting started in a particular career path. So looking at Microsoft Excel, okay, so topics around what Excel, what's a row, what's a column, what is cell, what comprises of a cell, what is space, how to paste, shortcuts and all that. We don't have to have a live class for those kind of topics. You understand? The live classes are more tailored towards projects, all right? Now, I will show you the projects. You can see this is some of the bite-sized videos. This is 24 minutes, just very short videos explaining introductory Excel. So even if you're a beginner, you are covered, all right? You're 100% covered as a beginner. If you're an experienced professional, trust me, you will learn a lot from the training program, all right? Now, the live class, let me show you the live class, okay? So you have your Microsoft Excel live class, the first live class, and let me show you the material. So you see you get a case study. All right. So you've learned several things from the Watch Me Do It videos. You've learned how to, perform, shortcuts, self-referencing and all that. Now, the next thing is for you to work. How do you use it in a business case? How do you get to work with it in an actual business case? That's the key thing. So case study one, you have, manufacturing. Okay. Profit manufacturing needs your help with their monthly budgets. All right. Case study two, help ACE Analytics track their work hours. Case study three, derive meaningful insight from Magic Electronics customers' data. So you see, now the key thing that, like we always say here, the way we have designed our curriculum is based on what is attainable in the industry, right? A recruiter wants to see you say that, oh, you have Excel skills. Fine, you have Excel skills. Oh, you can do VLOOKUP, you can do index match. Oh, can you tell me about the time you used this particular thing, this particular software, this particular tool, this particular function, and so on? How did you improve the process? You're likely going to be stuck if you just learn how to use VLOOKUP on YouTube because you've never really worked on it in an actual business case. And that's the reason why, the Watch Me Do It videos handles the tutorial, just, providing the knowledge to you. Then you now have case studies with live classes that are designed for cases, business scenarios designed. And these business scenarios are not just random business scenarios. They are business scenarios that we personally have experienced and we have tailored it to suit your learning, all right, and you gaining experience, that industry experience that you're looking for, you're going to be working on this case study. These case studies are going to enhance your learning capacity while giving you industry experience. All right. So you see some of them are manufacturing, some of them are logistics, some of them are health technology, some of them are, within the logistics, supply chain space, and so on and so forth. So those are the kind of things that you get to work on. So this is Excel. You see, you have another watch me do it videos to introduce some new topics to you, so on and so forth. Then you have an assignment. You see, everything is arranged in order for you to, even if you finish this curriculum, all right, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, if you want to revisit it, you can always come back to the platform and you see all the materials are still going to be available for you. All right. So you have lifetime access to the materials, to the videos, and all the things you need getting started. All right. So that's data analytics. The same thing with, let's say, data science. I'm going to go through data engineering also, just so we have enough time. So looking at data, full stack data science, the same thing. You have welcome to Analytics, an onboarding session, welcoming you, telling you all the things you need to do in order for you to get started with the program. All right. Then we have the Watch Me Do It videos to introduce you to some certain topics. All right. And you see, these are just carefully curated topic, curriculum modules that would basically bring it to you, bring all the answers, bring all the things that you've been hearing outside, bring them to you. So you see, you have an introduction. All right. So sorry, the problem solving video is playing already. Apologies. So you see, this is Nene. She's one, like I said, she's one of the experienced professionals that would also handle the data analytics problem solving class. Yeah, she has 7 years of experience working across different industries. She's currently senior FP&A Zillows UK management and leadership advisor at HBR, which is the Harvard Business Review Advisory Council. All right. She's trained over 2,500 participants, prior experience with Zillows, Denom in the UK, KPMG, Bank of America, Loros. You are going to be working with people that have a wealth of experience in the field. So it's not just going to be anybody, any random individual. You're going to be working with people that have hands-on experience in the field. Now with data science, looking at data science, you have, the first Watch Me Do It video introducing you to data analytics, to data science. So before you even jump into data science, you need to even understand what is data. All right, the types of data, how do you classify data? How do you measure data? So those are the things that you're going to be looking at, the stages of learning data science, what is data? So a lot of people don't understand that data is not just the subscription you buy on your phone. All right, there was a time I asked a question, what is data? And somebody said, data is the subscription that we buy on the phone. And we wanted to go on to say, the price tags, MTN 257 gig. All right, I think guys, stop. Do you understand? So you need to understand what is data and what is the burst of data itself. So basically, that's what we talk about, understanding data. So for data science, it's very important because you're going to be working with way more technical concepts, okay? So, and everything is broken down. And you see, one of the key things, one of the interesting things I get, is the comments, you see. It's all Paul Akombi says, thanks a lot for the videos. The teaching was simplified, making them straightforward and easy to comprehend. And that's me saying thanks for Loa. Olaolu also says the same thing. Thanks for the explanation. I enjoyed watching it. I would like to know if it's possible to have the slides for the presentation. Everything was provided. Thank you. The lectures were expiring. So you see, those are the kind of things broken down to granular level for you to understand. All right. So once you start with that statistics introduction, so you have categorical visualization and you have numerical visualization. So as a data scientist, you need to understand the difference between categorical data, how to visualize categorical data, and how to visualize numerical data. There are 2 different ways. So they're dealing, your bar chart, your pie chart are all categorical visualization, while your scatter plot, your box plot, your histogram, these are all numerical visualization. So everything will be taught to you, and we give you extra Excel videos for you to practice on cell referencing, if functions, sum if, count if, and so on and so forth. So this is the first week, and you go on to work on the project. So you have, once you get the Watch Me Do It videos, the next thing is a live class for you. How do you apply all this categorical visualization, numerical visualization in a business case? all right, in an actual business case. So you have the dashboarding class using Microsoft Excel. You go on to the next what you do videos that would, undo other aspect of statistics, which is, descriptive and inferential statistics, how to handle missing values, interquartile range, variance and standard deviations, and so on. So, these courses are, like I said, are very well curated to get you from zero, all right, or even -1 in some scenarios, from -1 to 100 within the time duration that we've specified for your learning. All right, so you see business analysis, the same thing. All right, business analysis, the same thing. You see all the classes carefully, developed and arranged in a way for you to always have access to them. So you have your Excel classes, you start with Excel classes, and you see you're always working on case studies. All right, you're always working on case studies. So as a business analyst, introducing you Excel to you, all right, this is basically the case study. So you see it here. Sunshine Resort is a luxurious beachfront hotel, management hotel that caters for leisure and business travelers alike. So let's go straight to the objective. The resort consulted you, the analyst, because they aim to gain actionable insight and data-driven recommendations to enhance guest experiences, optimize hotel operations, and maximize revenue. So how do you do this? Using Excel, okay? How do you do this? This is the first class, literally the first class in Microsoft Excel. So you will see everything will be introduced to you, how to use Excel to analyze, to make reports, to build reports, and so on and so forth. So you see, and that's Excel. You do the same thing with Power BI. You have your Power BI classes, and you'll notice you have the CV review sessions in there. This is literally the first week. So we start early so that you can start to apply for jobs as early as possible. So learning the technical skill is just one part. Also, you applying for a job is also a skill that you need to master. So the earlier you start, the earlier you're going to make sense of it, the earlier you're going to get a job at the end of the session. So your review session starts as early as possible. We have experts, and guess what? They are participants that have gone through the session that are coming back to handle the CV review sessions. So you see all the guys that are, talking about how they got a job after 3 months. So our participants usually come back to volunteer to, tell us, oh, Analytics, you did this for us. We want to impact other people, show other people how they got started, and the strategies they put in place in order for them to get what they are looking for. So most times you get the CV review as early as possible so that you can also get to start quickly. All right, so you see everything. We have the mentorship sessions also, like Adeza mentioned during the session. You have mentorship sessions. Everything is carefully curated and designed into the training program, training modules. Okay, so at any point in time, you could always get access to it, and you could always watch it, at your own pace, at your own time, so on and so forth. So you see everything arranged, and you have your BA classes. And let's take a look at one of the case studies for the BA class. This is an IT business case template, and you can see how it is designed, walking you through how you can design your own business case. All right. So you see, this is the classroom. So obviously you won't have access to all the classroom. You only have access to the one you paid for. So if you paid for business analysis, you get access to business analysis. If you pay for Power Platform, or if you pay for HR, you get HR, financial analytics. So everything is there for you to have access to, as long as you have made payments. So like I said, like Adeza have reiterated several times, first 20 people to register is not for everybody. All right. So if you're looking to get started this month, all right, please get started now. All right. Don't contemplate, don't hesitate. If you're still trying to make a decision, we are still going to be having one-on-one session. But one thing you should know, the discount is limited. It's limited to just 20 people. So if you make payments, all right, secure your position, then you can request for a one-on-one conversation. Even when you're filling the form, you can state that you need to speak with an expert in order for you to commit to the program that you want to go into. So please secure your position now, okay? Then we can have conversations one-on-one to continue from there. All right, so I'm going to hand over back to Adeza. That is the platform, and we'll take it up from there.
All right, thank you, Ife. I think we'll take maybe just about 2 to 3 more questions. A couple of people have made payments already. So again, if you make payments, ensure you fill the form, select the date you'd like to start, which is also very crucial, because if you want to start in November, for example, not in October, you have that opportunity to also defer, but take advantage of the discounts that exist for the month of October. So once you make payments, I won't have time in October, I would like to join in November. We have another class starting in November. All you have to do is make payment to be a part and defer the program to November, because the discount is not going to be available. All right. So take advantage of the discount today to be a part of the program going forward. Okay. So I'm just going to show you some of the things our participants have done on LinkedIn and why LinkedIn is also very crucial for you. All right. So again, guys, please follow me on LinkedIn. I've seen some of you follow me already. So search for my name, Adeiza Suleiman. All right. ADEIZA SULEMAN, and Femena as well. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow Tenalytics, see the amazing stuff we're doing. All right. So that's me over there. And I think, yes, I posted this. I think it was today. We have a partnership with the University of Bradford. Okay. And the partnership, we secured the partnership to help Nigerians, the Nigerian community within the University of Bradford. If you're a student in the University of Bradford, we help you transition into the tech ecosystem here in the UK. All right, so this is the partnership, and I was sharing this today. Exciting news. We are partnering with the Nigerian Student Society of the University of Bradford in the UK. And of course, it's an amazing partnership to help Africans to transition into the tech ecosystem. All right. This is Chigozie. Chigozie built this dashboard for Texas, and you can see what he's been able to achieve. And what we do is this: we tell you this is very, I would say, is very instructive, because you want to showcase to the world that you have skills in a particular area. So you can't have data analytics on your CV, but you don't have anything that speaks about data analytics on your LinkedIn. So one of the things we tell you to do right from when you join us, you change your title on your LinkedIn profile to a data analytics consultant with Tenalytics, business analyst with Tenalytics, data engineer with Tenalytics, and so on. So this is Chigozie. He posted this about what he built, talking about all the stuff he's been able to do. And you can see data-driven analytics, Power BI, consistency, passion for data, Tenalytics. And if you scroll down, just do a search, you see the amazing stuff people are doing and they're posting online. Mansurat's also posted Elevating Retail Intelligence, Tenalytics Sales Performance Dashboard, and you can see what she's been able to build as well. All right. If we scroll down, you'd see Hanatu. Hanatu built this very fantastic dashboard as well as part of the data science program. All right. And of course, this is Yemi. Yemi got his certificate and he was posting it on LinkedIn. So you see the session that we held today with Dr. Kenneth. This was the post on LinkedIn to, introduce that session. Now you have so many fantastic participants, HR analytics dashboard by the same Chigozie, of course, and you have so many other people posting stuff and they tag Tenalytics. That gives you an affiliation, to a reputable organization that would help you make the transition. So follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or X, follow us across all the platforms, and you get to see the amazing stuff that we do. Now, look at the computer vision program you're going to work on. So you can see Christiana and see the hand detection project she's been able to build. Let me maximize this. Okay. So you can see the detection, the hand detection project built by Christiana. And these are some of the things you build as a data scientist. So you can see as she moves her hands, her fingers, you can see it detects her fingers. So when you look at the type of technologies that are built in different systems today, those systems are built using different programs and projects similar to what Christiana has just built. Okay. So the video is a bit slow, but you can see it clearly what she's been able to do. All right. And that's the computer vision project. So go on LinkedIn, see the amazing people that have built amazing stuff, different fantastic dashboards, and from there, they've been able to transition and switch their career to the next level. So I'll see if we have more questions. Chukwueku has a question. I'll go back to Chukwueku, take 1 or 2 questions, and then we call it a day for today. It's been a long day spent. Let's take Chukwueku. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Go ahead and ask a question.
Thank you, sir. My question is this. I appreciate the good work you are doing. The last class was a program for 2 months learning and 1 month intensive, but I don't know what changed. I'm hearing 3 months. No, all of this program, apart from it was formerly 2 months training and 1 month intensive. But I'm hearing now from tonight's presentation, 3 months training and 1 month for HR analytics. So what changed?
When did you hear it was 2 months and 1 month? When was that?
I think I joined a session sometime last month, before September cohort started.
No, it could have been last month. All right. If you had said maybe 3-4 months ago or thereabouts, then yes. Now I'll tell you the reason why. So 3-4 months ago, we revamped our curriculum. We always revamp, like I mentioned earlier, and this is in line with the demand of the markets. Okay, so first of all, initially we were not offering SQL as part of the HR analytics program. All right. Secondly, we had some new additions into Power BI, because guess what? These technologies change very fast. It's very dynamic. So to ensure that we keep up with the trend and also ensure that our participants get the best value, we modified the program. Now, if we modified the program to include more modules and we keep it at the same time, what happens? You suffer, because you have to learn so many things within a very short period of time. So rather than doing that, we expanded the scope, expanded the duration to give the participants the opportunity to learn comprehensively for 3 months, work on internship projects for 1 month, have a 4 months learning journey, and transition into the tech ecosystem. I don't know if that
I'm sorry. Yes, that's fine. The other thing I still want to ask is in line with the same duration, the 1 month internship for people who do 9 to 5. How do you cope with that?
Yeah, so it's project-based. It's a project-based internship, all right?
Okay.
Now, again, for us at Tenalytics, one of the things we always advise is you want to transition, okay? You want to move from what you're doing into where you see progression in your career journey. Now, you're not expected to resume in an office from Monday to Friday, or expected to be online working as an intern from Monday to Friday. No. But what would happen is this: during the weekends, you'd have your project meetings, because you'd work together in groups. You're not going to work alone. You'd have group members. You'd share activities and what to do. All right. The majority of the work you do would be on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, during the week, from Monday to Friday, you still have to put in some time to working on those projects. So you're a 9 to 5er. You go to work at 9, you come back at 5. You give 1 hour out of your time to work on the project as well. Okay, so you could spread it across, Monday, I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or I'm going to do 30 minutes from Monday, Tuesday, up until Friday. That is totally up to you. However, you must create time to work on the projects, and you're not likely going to do everything, just like you will not do everything in the real world. As a data analyst, as a data engineer, you'd work in a data team. Okay, so one person is responsible for getting the data, just like the case study we looked at, just like the data engineer. The data analyst is then responsible for what? Analyzing, creating dashboards, and so on. And that's how the internship would be structured. You'd work in teams, you'd collaborate and agree on how to get the job done. You'd have an internship coordinator that would work with you. You'd have meetings. If you're stuck, you schedule a meeting, and then they jump on the call to attend the meeting, but you don't have to resume anywhere. That will take all the time for you as a 9-to-5er, if that makes sense to you, Chukwueku.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so welcome. All right, let's take question from Abdul Hamid Adekunle. I've asked you to unmute yourself, Abdul Hamid. I think I'll take only Abdul Hamid's question and then we'll call it a day. Go ahead, Abdul Hamid.
Thank you, Mr. Sulaiman. Thank you very much for the value-packed session. Please, I have two questions. One, what is the average income, monthly income or salary of a data engineer working remotely? That is one. Secondly, what is the RAM of a one can use, undergoing data engineering course? Thank you. Hello?
All right. Yes, I heard you. Your network was a bit shaky. Your audio was a bit shaky initially. All right. Now, working as a data engineer, the salary, I can hear you, Abdul Hamid. Can you hear me? All right, Abdul Hamid, you have some network challenges. All right, so I'm just going to speak so that when you get the recording later. Yeah, I'm trying to mute, but it's not muting, unfortunately. Okay, I think I've tried to mute. Okay, so just to answer Abdul Hamid's question. This is interesting, and it's not muting, and this usually happens. I'm trying to mute, but it's not muting. Okay, I think it's muted now. So the average salary, depending on where you're working, if you're working in the US as a data engineer, the US tends to pay a lot higher than the other economies, the other countries, and you get 6 figures. It also depends on the role, it depends on the industry, but on the average, you get over 6 figures in the US at around $114,000 US. All right. You'd see some other roles, 120 something, 140 something, depending on the organization, depending on the industry, and so on and so forth. Okay. In Canada, it's about 92,000 Canadian dollars. In the UK, it's about 60,000 pounds. All right. And I think his second question was the capacity of the computer. You don't need a high-end laptop to be in any of the programs. All right. All you need is an entry-level laptop. You have 250 gigabytes SSD. You have 8 gigabytes RAM. You have what else? Core i3, Core i5. That's fine. It can also get the job done. Okay. So you don't need a high-end computer to be a part of the program. Okay, if you have a Mac as well, people would ask, oh, Mac, Windows, it really doesn't matter. Now, for Mac users, you have 1 or 2 things you would need to put in place, but we have videos, we have all those materials available for you. And when Ifemena was showing us the Google Classroom, you would see where you have how to install Postgre for Mac, how to install Power BI for Mac. So we make those things available to you, so you get that sorted out. In Nigeria, the salary ranges. I talked about 2 people, somebody reaching out to me to say he had opportunities for 2 data engineers in a company, all right? And the roles were a minimum, okay? A minimum of 1 million per month, 1 million naira per month. Take home. The take home pay was 1 million naira. So the net pay out after tax, after all the other deductions, the take home was 1 million naira per month. Okay, so data engineers can earn as high as that. And this was not even in a fintech or in, one of these companies that would pay ridiculously. This was just in a startup, and they were willing to pay that high. And that's also because of the demand of data engineers across the globe. What's the probability of getting a job from Nigeria and working remotely? Okay, the probability is you get a job. We provide everything you need to get a job. And I'll share just very quickly people who have done that before training with us. Okay, so you'd see this during the testimonial, of course. So let's first of all go to Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid lives in Kwara State, Ilori. He works with Chow 420 in the US. All right, he works remotely from Nigeria, earns in dollars, spends in Naira. Okay, now Abdul Rashid joined our full stack data science program. We also have Victor, who is a people operations analyst. He works with a company, Hugo, in Chicago, Illinois, in the US, after completing our HR analytics program. Now, what we do is we bring people that have gotten these jobs. Okay, we've worked with them. We're going to work with you. But in addition to that, you'd have somebody like Abdul Rashid, who's one of the smartest young chaps you would ever get to work with. He's going to show you how he did it. So you're also going to learn from somebody who has just walked the same ropes you are trying to walk. All right. So you're going to get links from us, show you links where you need to apply, the jobs you need to apply to, the websites to get remote opportunities, how to structure your CV for those opportunities. Because a lot of people will tell you that, and you'd also see some roles that they are remote, fully remote, but they require you to be in the country. So you don't want to apply to those jobs. You want to apply to the jobs where you can work from your own country and also get to do work for, you can stay in your country rather and work for those companies in the other economies. All right. I hope I answered your question there. Okay, so I think the testimonials are fantastic. Like I mentioned, this is Maureen. Maureen got a job with TELUS, a major telecommunications company in Canada, as a HR data analyst. She joined our HR program. You have Thelma, who got a job in Birmingham, UK, as a HR analyst after joining our program as well. You had Rafiat, business analyst with a post office in the UK. You have Solomon, from an engineering background, completed university, joined our program, got a job as a financial analytics professional with Kegos Oil and Gas Limited in Nigeria. You have Victor. Victor got a job with Nicole Finance, completed our financial analytics program. You have Bumi, who got a job as a market data analyst after completing our financial analytics program. You have Afolabi, also got a job as a financial analyst with Codebox after completing our programs. Some of our achievements, fantastic achievements. We've helped in 2022, last year, we helped over 300 people transition, and we are set to supersede this number in the year 2023. Our organization, our participants work with some of the biggest organizations across the globe: the Frasers Group, the HSBC, Cognizant, the Western Union, PwC, the NHS, Belron, Sterling Bank in Nigeria, Revolut, Nestle, so many major top organizations. All right. We had so many features across the major publications because of our impact, most especially in the year 2022. We had Business Day feature us saying Tenalytics helps Africans land tech jobs across 4 continents. You have the link to read all these articles. Nairametrics also featured our hackathon. We had The Punch also talked about how Nigeria can make data-driven decisions. So they interviewed myself, interviewed Efemena on this particular aspect. We had hackathons where 5 people went away with 1 million naira as the cash prize. They solved problems that were related to the SDG goals, how to solve problems using data, right? This is also about the hackathon from the Business Day, and PR Fire in the UK also featured us as well, how we are helping Africans land tech jobs. In March, to commemorate the International Women's Month, we launched a program, a tech scholarship for women in tech. And this is simply because women are disadvantaged when it comes to the tech industry. You have just 25% of the tech roles filled by women, only 25%. So one of the things we did to bridge the gap, to bring more women into tech, was to give 300 women scholarship. So Ikmat, that got a job with the NHS, she was a recipient of our scholarship, our Women in Tech scholarship. She joined us in March. She joined up our data analytics program, benefited from the tech scholarship, and she's doing amazing today as a data analyst with the NHS, fully sponsored. And of course, we held a data hackathon where we brought industry experts from the Lloyds Banking Group, from Google, from Cambridge University, and also from Wema Bank in Nigeria, the panel of judges to judge the presentations from the different professionals. All right. So again, if you are ready to gain premium tech skills, Tenalytics is your #1 go-to place. All right. So I think we've taken so many questions. The time is fast spent, and we're going to call it a day. After making payment for this training, do we need to buy or pay? You don't need to buy any software. You don't need to pay. All right. All the links for you to download and register, they're all available. The Women in Tech scholarship was in March. That was a long time ago. All right, so we don't have it currently running again. So to be a part of the program, guys, I think we've talked a lot about that already. Take advantage of the discounts. Follow us across all our social media channels. Follow myself, follow Efemena, follow Tenalytics. Feel free to reach out to us. You have questions, how to transition into tech. That's our mission, and we are here to ensure that we're able to bring in as many people into tech as possible. Follow us, and see the amazing stuff we've been doing across all our platforms. All right. We're going to call it a day at this point in time. Thank you very much, guys, for spending your Sunday evening with us. It was super exciting having you guys, and we look forward to having you in class starting on the 7th of October. Feel free to also indicate if you want a one-on-one session with an expert. Feel free, fill the link to indicate that you want a one-on-one session. That will be sent across all the WhatsApp groups. The link would also be sent to your emails and so on when you get the recording and the slides from this session. Somebody's asking, any certifications? Absolutely. When you're done with your program, you receive a certificate to show that you can apply and deploy these skills across the industry. And that's what employers want to see. They want to see that you have the skills to solve problems for them. Okay, there is no age limit. Emmanuel is sending that to the chat as well. No age limits to get into tech. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. You guys are just too wonderful. You guys are awesome for staying till this. This is 11:26 my time on a Sunday evening. I wish you a productive week ahead and have an amazing time. Until we meet again in some other session or in class when you register. Cheers, guys, and have an amazing day.
Thanks everyone for joining. Have a wonderful day. Cheers, guys.